Chapter 1141. The Shocked Wu Ji Nong. However, in the Chaos Ghost Mist, one cannot fly no matter how fast the three's flashing speed was. They were simply no match for the speed of the Ghost Sha Ming bees. After not fleeing too far, the three were once again trapped within the swarm of attacking bees. In such a situation, the three could only fight and flee simultaneously. The sevenfold Divine Master was somewhat better off. His combat power, although unable to annihilate all the Ghost Sha Ming bees, was still adequate to protect himself from major harm. He slew the Ghost Sha Ming bees while escaping forward. In the face of a life-and-death crisis, he no longer cared to protect Wu Ji Nong and that two-star sovereign. Anyway, he wasn't with their team. He didn't need to face true great risks to protect the two of them. Soon, the seven-star Divine Master, carrying a bunch of Ghost Sha Ming bees, fled far ahead, leaving Wu Ji Nong and the other two-star sovereign surrounded by two large swarms of Ghost Sha Ming bees. Seeing this situation, Wu Ji Nong and the two-star sovereign's hearts sank completely. Originally, they thought that with a Divine Master, they could be protected, but who knew when disaster struck, every man fled for himself, and they were directly abandoned by that Divine Master. Wu Ji Nong wanted to struggle and fight against the Ghost Sha Ming bees, but unfortunately, the newly joined large swarm was not something he, a three-star sovereign, could handle. Even though Wu Ji Nong's combat power could already match a nine-star sovereign, or even a weaker lower-level Divine Master, in the face of the swarm, there was nothing he could do but succumb to being besieged. Wu Ji Nong even had the feeling that if he couldn't come up with a plan soon, he might be besieged and killed by the Ghost Sha Ming bees right there. Buzz! The terrifying drone of the swarm resounded in the Chaos Ghost Mist. When the swarm again collectively attacked, countless blood needles shot towards Wu Ji Nong and the other two-star sovereign like a torrential rain. The two finally felt they could not withstand it. Almost in an instant, a scroll appeared in each of their hands. These were the very life-saving scrolls that they had obtained as rewards in their respective universes' stellar domain genius battle. Wu Ji Nong's life-saving scroll was Overlord level, while the two-star sovereign's life-saving scroll was Divine Master level. Facing a life-and-death threat, the two could only take out their life-saving scrolls. The moment the life-saving scrolls appeared, unmatched killing force radiated from the two scrolls, especially Wu Ji Nong's Overlord level scroll, which was of the highest Overlord grade. Under the surge of endless killing force, divine power flowed several times, wiping out the Ghost Sha Ming bees attacking him completely. On the other side, the two-star sovereign's Divine Master level scroll, also at the ninefold Divine Master level, similarly shredded all the Ghost Sha Ming bees on his side after divine power surged a dozen times. When all the Ghost Sha Ming bees were annihilated, Wu Ji Nong and the two-star sovereign, holding their life-saving scrolls, completely collapsed. There was not the slightest bit of joy on their faces after exterminating all the Ghost Sha Ming bees. On the contrary, they were utterly exasperated. Although they managed to slay the Ghost Sha Ming bees using their life-saving scrolls this time, they did not gain any benefits. On the contrary, they had exhausted much of the scroll's power. It's important to know, once the power of the life-saving scrolls is depleted, they would lose the opportunity to explore and train in the primal beginning universe. Having just arrived at the 13th Chaos Zone, they hadn't obtained any treasure, and now the life-saving scrolls in their hands had already been partially consumed. This naturally made Wu Ji Nong and the two-star sovereign feel intensely depressed. In the end, the two gritted their teeth and stood up again. Having reached the 13th Chaos Zone, the two naturally did not want to waste the opportunity. The life-saving scrolls had been consumed. They certainly hoped to gain some benefits later on. With this in mind, the two chose the path leading to the center of the 13th Chaos Zone and continued to move forward. Suddenly, they heard sounds of fighting. Who is it? They exchanged glances, somewhat unsettled in their mind and spirit. They didn't know what was happening ahead and were afraid of getting involved, which could spell disaster for them again. However, they were immensely curious and wanted to know what was happening up front. With such a mindset, the two eventually couldn't resist their curiosity and cautiously approached the direction from which the sound of fighting was coming. When they got closer and saw the specific situation of the fight ahead, Wu Jinong and the two-star sovereign's eyes widened in utter disbelief. In front, the combatants on both sides were well known to them. On one side were the very demons, ghost Sha Ming bees, that had nearly killed them just moments ago. On the other side was the heavenly divine venerable they had encountered earlier, and who had shown no interest in teaming up with them, Yi Chun. However, the battle scene between these two sides was completely beyond their expectations. In the eyes of the two, Yi Chun, who was far inferior to them, was now completely dominating the battlefield against nearly 100 ghost Sha Ming bees. With each strike from Yi Chun, the ghost Sha Ming bees were slain one by one, leaving bodies scattered all over the ground. Upon looking at the ground again, one could see that more than 50 ghost Sha Ming bees had already been killed by Yi Chun. In other words, earlier on, Yi Chun single-handedly faced more than 150 ghost Sha Ming bees. 150 ghost Sha Ming bees. Indeed. One must know that the two swarms of ghost Sha Ming bees that Wu Jinong and that two-star sovereign were fighting against combined were not even that many, and in such circumstances they could not cope and had to rely on a life-saving scroll. Now seeing Yi Chun relying on neither a life-saving scroll nor any treasure, but instead directly using the unmatched sword light of the divine sword and terrifyingly powerful flames to kill the ghost Sha Ming bees, completely suppressing such a large number of ghost Sha Ming bees, this utterly shocked Wu Jinong to the extreme. The two instantly understood that this heavenly divine venerable Yi Chun in front of them was not the weakling they previously thought would only drag them down. This heavenly divine venerable Yi Chun was simply stronger than the two of them combined, and might even have combat power stronger than that of the sevenfold divine master. After all, that sevenfold divine master did not handle the bee swarm's assault as easily as Yi Chun did in slaying these ghost Sha Ming bees. Seeing the ghost Sha Ming bees around Yi Chun being killed one by one, it was evident that Yi Chun breaking free from the swarm was only a matter of time. At this moment, Wu Jinong was deeply remorseful. If he had known earlier that Yi Chun was so formidable, he would not have ignored Yi Chun. On the contrary, he would have begged Yi Chun to allow them to join him in action. In that case, although it would be embarrassing, with Yi Chun's help, they might not have had to waste their life-saving scrolls. Amidst the two's immense regret, Yi Chun also noticed Wu Jinong and the other person. Seeing their embarrassed appearance and the sevenfold divine master beside them disappear, Yi Chun instantly understood that the two must have encountered some danger. However, Yi Chun wasn't interested in dealing with the two. If they had wished to form a team with Yi Chun earlier, perhaps Yi Chun might have cared. Since they looked down on Yi Chun certainly wouldn't insist on joining them. Moreover, while facing a massive swarm of ghost Sha Ming bees, Yi Chun was also practicing his killing moves in real battle, and seeing Wu Jinong and the other person spying from the side, Yi Chun no longer wished to waste any more time showing them his skills. Yi Chun suddenly waved his hand, enveloping both himself and the ghost Sha Ming bee swarm in an unparalleled blaze. Wu Jinong and the other person could not clearly see the situation within the flames. Within the flames, Yi Chun unleashed the killing power from the Taiyu chapter of the primordial star scripture. Earlier, Yi Chun had only been using quadruple combat power amplification from the stellar terrestrial spin, applying it to his divine skills to slay the ghost Sha Ming bees. Now, with the most powerful divine power from the Taiyu chapter flowing under the quadruple combat power of the stellar terrestrial spin, the ghost Sha Ming bee swarm was no match for Yi Chun at all. With a surge of space-killing power, a large group of ghost Sha Ming bees was instantly slaughtered by Yi Chun. The ghost Sha Ming bee swarm, which posed a life-and-death threat to Wu Jinong and the other person, couldn't withstand Yi Chun at all, not in the slightest. When all the ghost Sha Ming bees were killed, Yi Chun finally withdrew the flames, took a faint glance at Wu Jinong and the other person, and then continued to stride forward. Watching Yi Chun walk away, and seeing the ground littered with ghost Sha Ming bee bodies, the two were so shocked their hearts nearly stopped. They had not seen what moves Yi Chun used. All those living ghost Sha Ming bees were dead just like that. This was exceptionally terrifying to them. This directly indicated that Yi Chun had used an inconceivable killing force far beyond what the ghost Sha Ming bees could withstand to slay them. Clearly, Yi Chun was far stronger than they had imagined, overwhelmingly strong. Under such circumstances, Seeing Yi Chun about to leave, Wu Jinong was unwilling to miss the opportunity to follow such a powerhouse in action. He hurriedly chased after Yi Chun, calling out as he ran, "Yi Chun, my fellow cultivator, can you assist us and bring us along?" Wu Jinong didn't care about losing face. He just wanted to rely on a powerful figure to gain more from the 13th Chaos Zone. As for that two-star sovereign, feeling extreme shame thinking about how he had previously dismissed Yi Chun, he was too embarrassed to speak up. He could only hope that Lord Yi Chun would not hold grudges and would indeed take them along. Unfortunately, Yi Chun wasn't that kind-hearted. Upon hearing Wu Jinong's voice, Yi Chun stopped. But Yi Chen's next words made Wu Jinong and the other person's faces turn red and pale in turns. "Bring you along?" Yi Chun looked at them calmly. "Sorry, I'm a mere little heavenly divine venerable, not suitable to join you two sovereigns in action." After speaking, Yi Chun no longer paid attention to them and continued walking forward until he disappeared completely. This left Wu Jinong and the other person standing still in embarrassment, their hearts filled with shame. Chapter 1142. Skeleton Treasure Light. Wu Jinong and the thoughts of that two-star sovereign were of no concern to Yi Chun. For Yi Chun, the character of those two wasn't worth engaging with, and there was no need to pay them any mind. With that time, it would be better to explore the 13th Chaos Zone a bit more. Yi Chun continued to move forward. The battle with the ghost Sha Ming Bi made Yi Chun understand his own combat power more clearly. Coupled with the Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll he carried, Yi Chun felt even more confident in venturing into the 13th Chaos Zone. After walking for a while longer in the ghost mist, Yi Chun suddenly stopped again. This time, Yi Chun directly sensed an inexplicable treasure aura. It seemed that there was an incredible treasure nearby. This treasure aura was much richer than the black extreme ghost flower Yi Chun had obtained earlier. Judging from the aura alone, it was definitely a treasure countless times more valuable than the black extreme ghost flower. This caused Yi Chen's mind and spirit to stir. However, at the moment he sensed the treasure aura, it suddenly disappeared, as if its earlier appearance was just a coincidence. This oddity made the treasure seem even more extraordinary. After sensing the appearance and disappearance of the treasure aura, Yi Chun paused in place, pondered for a moment, and then sat down cross-legged, beginning to use the cultivation method from the Taiyu chapter of the Primordial Star Scripture to sense the space star aperture of this area. The Taiyu chapter of the Primordial Star Scripture is an immensely powerful divine art. Even though the 13th Chaos Zone is extraordinarily complex in the outermost Chaos Ghost Mist realm, where innumerable divine master overlords cannot probe too far with their divine sense, limited to a range of at most a few dozen feet. But when Yi Chun operated the Taiyu chapter, he could sense the Chaos Ghost Mist realm with complete clarity. Though it's unclear whether it's a special restriction of the 13th Chaos Zone, he could only sense the individual Chaos Ghost Mist realm space star aperture. But Yi Chun was not disheartened in the slightest. Being able to sense the space star aperture of the Chaos Ghost Mist realm was good enough. This could definitely help him better understand the specific circumstances of this place. Earlier, Yi Chun was worried that sitting down to cultivate might expose him to danger. But now, after clearly sensing the presence of a great treasure here, he couldn't help but first comprehend the space star aperture of this place. Improving his strength while thoroughly exploring the treasure, Yi Chun speculated further. Since the space star aperture of the Chaos Ghost Mist realm is singular, it's possible that he could sense more than one space star aperture in the 13th Chaos Zone. This was certainly good news for Yi Chun. This meant Yi Chun could imprint several more origin star apertures within himself. Sitting cross-legged, Yi Chun operated his divine power to defend himself while carefully sensing the space star aperture here, imprinting a new origin star aperture. This cultivation and sensing continued for several hours. During this time, it's uncertain whether it was because Yi Chun had annihilated a large group of ghost Sha Ming bees that intimidated many demons here, or if there were no other demons in this area, but surprisingly, not a single demon came to attack Yi Chun. Several hours later, Yi Chun successfully completed sensing the space star aperture of the Chaos Ghost Mist realm, successfully adding another origin star aperture within himself. Although this newly added origin star aperture didn't significantly enhance the combat power of his Taiyu chapter, a satisfied smile appeared on Yi Chen's face, because, after sensing the space star aperture of this place, Yi Chen's ability to explore this area seemed to increase tenfold, and this time, he finally successfully sensed the strong treasure aura that had appeared and disappeared earlier, in a pit more than 100 feet ahead. It turns out the treasure aura was obscured by a special formation, only revealing itself at particular times. Yi Chen narrowed his eyes and looked directly in the direction to the left front. Following that, Yi Chen's figure moved instantly, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived beside a pit. As he got closer, Yi Chen could more clearly see the entirety of the pit. This was a pit with a radius of several hundred feet, shrouded in dense black mist, and concealed by a special obscuring formation. If one were too far away or unable to breach the obscuring formation, it would be impossible to discover the pit. Perhaps only a powerful existence like a master could see the true situation of the area up close. But what kind of person was Yi Chen? Even though he wasn't a powerful master, just by comprehending the space star aperture here, he completely discovered the pit. Moreover, with Yi Chen's training and formations, if he really approached this area, even without relying on the understanding of the space star aperture, he could discover the peculiarity of this place. Standing outside the pit, after examining the obscuring formation for more than a dozen breaths, Yi Chen directly utilized his divine power to completely seal this area, preventing the treasure aura from leaking and being discovered by others. Yi Chen's sealing technique was formed by condensing his countless insights into formations along with the driving force of his strong divine power. Even the most powerful master couldn't sense Yi Chen's sealing concealment without being extremely close to this place. Having arranged everything, Yi Chen pointed fiercely at the obscuring formation with his finger. In an instant, an unparalleled sword light, like a divine lightning, blasted forward. After the strike ended, Yi Chen's hands kept moving, continuously striking at over a dozen points of this formation. With a crackling sound, the sound of the formation breaking was clearly heard. Yi Chen completely broke the erase formation I hear. When the formation was broken, the concealing grand formation dispersed, and the specifics of the pit were finally clear in Yi Chen's eyes. However, before Yi Chen could examine what was inside, divine light suddenly surged from his body. Because the moment he broke the formation, a killing force directly blasted towards him from within the pit. In almost an instant, dozens of black divine lights blasted in front of Yi Chen. The killing force of this black divine light would likely be difficult for even a low-level divine master to handle. But Yi Chen's expression remained unchanged. A sudden burst of golden flame erupted from Yi Chen's hand, instantly transforming into a golden firebird. The golden firebird circled around Yi Chen at an inconceivable speed, burning the dozens of black divine lights to nothing. Then, the golden firebird suddenly expanded, transforming into an enormous fiery, divine bird 100 feet wide, illuminating the entire pit brilliantly. This golden firebird was, of course, the increasingly powerful heavenly forbidden flame that Yi Chen could control after advancing to the heavenly divine venerable. Moreover, it contained the killing power of Yi Chen's starry sky earth Xian and heavenly sword divine art. If it were just the heavenly forbidden flame, it might not have been so easy to burn away the black divine light. But with the fourfold combat power amplification of starry sky earth Xian and the killing force of the heavenly sword divine art, the black divine light was no match for the heavenly forbidden flame. Not only was the black divine light completely burned away, but even the source of the black divine light was clearly revealed before Yi Chen. These were dozens of black mysterious bats, which Yi Chen had never seen or heard of before, not even mentioned on the maps. It seemed to be a special demon that suddenly appeared in the chaos ghost mist. Seeing these strange demons, Yi Chen felt that this place had likely gone unnoticed by those cosmic emperors. At this moment, the dozens of black mysterious bats were suspended in the void, seemingly not expecting Yi Chen to break their attack so easily. Time seemed to stop for a moment. The next moment, these dozens of black mysterious bats attacked Yi Chen once again. This time, Instead of spewing black divine light to attack Yi Chun, their entire bodies shot towards Yi Chun like black divine lightning. Sensing the killing force of these black mysterious bats, Yi Chun instantly clenched his fist. Suddenly, two strange divine lights, one golden and one red, frantically appeared on Yi Chun's body. Then, Yi Chun punched fiercely towards the ground. Boom! 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 The ground was directly torn apart, and dreadful demon entities resembling lion-bear creatures surged out, roaring towards the dozens of black mysterious bats. The terrifying lion-bear demon entities stirred up by the strange golden and red divine lights were clearly a hidden secret technique of the God-devouring transformation of the top-ranked demon, God-devouring great demon, in the eastern edge of the cosmic sea that Yi Chun cultivated. The God-devouring great demon is the top fierce demon in the eastern edge of the cosmic sea. Its adult form fears not even the cosmic emperor. Even though Yi Chun had not yet cultivated the God-devouring transformation secret technique to its strongest, with the fourfold combat power amplification of Starry Sky Earth Shin, this secret technique was more than enough to deal with these black mysterious bats. Roar! 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 The God-devouring transformation technique-driven shadows of the God-devouring great demon roared wildly, with immense killing force, leaping towards the black mysterious bats, each shadow seizing one black mysterious bat. A shocking scene occurred. These black mysterious bats, which could kill low-level divine masters, were no match for the God-devouring great demon shadows. The lion-bear demon entities of the God-devouring great demon shadows tore the black mysterious bats into shreds with a mighty swipe. As they shredded these black mysterious bats, golden and red flames frantically burned on the hands of the God-devouring great demon shadows, thoroughly incinerating the black mysterious bats, leaving not a trace of ash. After dealing with these suddenly attacking black mysterious bats, Yi Chun's gaze returned to the pit. This time, Yi Chun directly saw a humanoid skeleton lying on the ground in the pit. The main body of this humanoid skeleton had clearly been dead for a long time, leaving only the skeletal frame here. Moreover, the skeleton bones of its hand, head, and abdomen were a terrifying black, suggesting this person had died from poisoning. At this moment, in the hand of the deceased skeleton, a peculiar blazing red plant was being held. An immensely rich treasure aura was emanating from that blazing red plant. It was the very aura of the great treasure that Yi Chun had sensed earlier. Chapter 1143. Sudden Change. Looking at the fiery red plant emitting an incredibly rich treasure-like aura before him, Yi Chun's eyes glimmered. After observing closely for a few moments, Yi Chun's left hand moved slightly, while his right hand directly formed a giant divine power palm, reaching for the fiery red plant. At the moment Yi Chun's divine power giant palm touched the fiery red plant, something unexpected happened. Whoosh! From within the fiery red plant, something dark blue shot out at an unimaginable speed, directly flying toward Yi Chun's mind. This dark blue thing was aiming to directly invade Yi Chun's mind. If it were anyone else, even a divine master overlord, perhaps they wouldn't be able to stop this dark blue thing from invading their mind. But no one noticed that at the instant Yi Chun grasped the fiery red plant with his right hand, his subtly moving left hand had already grasped a scroll and activated it. This scroll was, astonishingly, the highest reward Yi Chun received after winning first place in the Stellar Domain Genius Battle. A Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll. Boom! At the moment the dark blue thing was about to invade Yi Chun's mind at an incredible speed, a brilliant starry light shot out from the life-saving scroll in Yi Chun's left hand, directly immobilizing the dark blue thing in the void, unable to move. It must be known that each of the 3 levels of life-saving scrolls is crafted by the strongest experts of their respective realms, possessing the combat power of the pinnacle experts. A divine master-level life-saving scroll equates to the life-saving power of a 9th-level divine master realm. The overlord-level life-saving scroll equates to the life-saving power of a greater tribulation overlord realm. As for the cosmic emperor-level life-saving scroll in Yi Chun's hand, it surpasses the 3rd star tribulation and reaches a peak-level cosmic emperor's life-saving power. This power can even help Yi Chun withstand an attack from another peak-level cosmic emperor for a moment. Faced with the suddenly flying dark blue thing, even though this dark blue thing appeared terrifying, it was no match for the life-saving scroll in Yi Chen's hand. Awoo! When the dark blue thing was immobilized in the void, a sound of frantic struggle came from within, followed by horrifying howls that were as demonic and human-like. As Yi Chun focused his gaze on the dark blue thing, he widened his eyes directly. This dark blue thing was actually a collection of countless star-like points gathered together into a fearful entity. Upon closer inspection, inside each star-like point, there seemed to be a terrifying soul. The entire dark blue thing seemed to be countless terrifying souls gathered together. Just now, so many terrifying souls intended to invade Yi Chen's mind. While Yi Chun was observing the dark blue thing, among the countless terrifying souls, the strongest soul formed into a horrifying human face during its frantic movements. This face was battered and looked as if it had suffered great trauma in life. It looked at Yi Chun with an incredulous expression, shouting, "Impossible! How can a mere heavenly divine venerable resist my 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills? 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills?" Upon hearing the shout from the terrifying human face formed by the soul, Yi Chen's eyes remained unwaveringly calm. Before grasping the fiery red plant, Yi Chun had long sensed something amiss. Earlier, Yi Chun had activated the Taiyu chapter of the primordial star scripture to sense the space star aperture in the Chaos Ghost Mist realm. Although he couldn't sense the specific situation in the pit, Yi Chun inexplicably sensed a strong soul aura emanating from within. After entering the pit and killing the never-seen-before black demon bat, Yi Chun only saw a humanoid skeleton, without seeing anything else. Yi Chun had even thoroughly investigated the humanoid skeleton, finding no soul aura hidden within it. Under such circumstances, Yi Chun was naturally extremely vigilant about the fiery red plant. That's why he preemptively activated the life-saving scroll. Otherwise, he might not have had time to fend off the attack from the dark blue thing. As a result, just as Yi Chun had previously detected, within the fiery red plant emitting an incredibly rich treasure aura, there was actually a hidden dark blue cluster formed from countless terrifying souls, intending to invade Yi Chen's mind. The actions of these countless terrifying souls were both familiar and strange to Yi Chun. Familiar because Yi Chun had heard and seen before the soul body-snatching methods. A single strong soul could even directly invade a weak person's mind, kill their soul, and completely take over their body. Yi Chun had even practiced related secret techniques before. Both body-snatching secret techniques and soul-searching secret skills were highly associated with such soul attacks. However, what Yi Chun didn't expect was that he encountered not just a single soul's body-snatching but a large cluster of countless souls' body-snatching. And from what the horrifying human face formed by the strongest soul said, this body-snatching method was something Yi Chun had never heard of, a method called 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills. Even if he knew nothing about this divine skill, Yi Chun understood from the name that if he had been careless earlier and let the dark blue thing invade his mind, it's highly possible that his soul would have been destroyed, dying here in the Chaos Ghost Mist.
Danger.
Truly exceedingly dangerous. 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills. What kind of magic is it? Why then did you appear in this Chaos Ghost Mist? Yi Chun looked at the eerie blue light sphere trapped in the void by the life-saving scroll and coldly asked the terrifying face inside. Facing such a stranger intending to kill him, Yi Chun naturally didn't show a good expression.
Gagospa.
Upon hearing Yi Chen's stern questioning, the terrifying face glanced at Yi Chun coldly. You, a mere heavenly divine venerable, dare to question me, the great emperor? Looking at what you've used to bind me, it obviously has an energy limit. Once the energy is exhausted, let's see where you, a mere heavenly divine venerable, can run to. If my physical body hadn't been destroyed in the 13th Chaos Zone, someone like you could never hope to bind me. Speaking finally, the terrifying face seemed extremely unwilling, starting to struggle violently in the void. With its struggle, countless terrifying faces formed from other flickering souls, crazily struggling. The countless souls danced, even causing the confinement to shake violently. However, fortunately, the life-saving scroll in Yi Chen's hand was the highest-level Cosmic Emperor Peak Scroll, and the struggle of these soul beings couldn't break free in a short time. Yi Chen ignored the tough talk of the terrifying face, as the words just spoken caused a ripple in his mind and spirit. Great Emperor? Could this soul be that of a Cosmic Emperor? Previously, only a Cosmic Emperor could enter the 13th Chaos Zone. Perhaps it truly is the soul of a Cosmic Emperor. Thinking that he might have bound a Cosmic Emperor's soul, Yi Chen's mind and spirit surged violently. If it weren't for the life-saving scroll in his hand being able to control this thing, and Yi Chen discovering that the remaining power of this Cosmic Emperor's soul is at most peak Overlord level or a weaker Cosmic Emperor level, Yi Chen would have found it hard to remain calm. After his mind and spirit calmed down after a few beats, Yi Chen fixed his gaze on the numerous struggling souls in the void, directly fixating on the most powerful and terrifying face, and said again, "Great Emperor? If you hadn't tried to kill me, perhaps I would have called you Senior. Since you wanted to kill me, do you think I would spare you? Even if you don't tell me what the 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills are, or why you appeared in the ghost mist, do you think that after I thoroughly refine your soul, I wouldn't understand?" Yi Chen's calm words made the strongest terrifying face show an incomparably frightened expression in an instant. After that, as if recalling something, it laughed madly. "You, a mere heavenly divine venerable, want to refine my soul, utterly ignorant." Just as the terrifying face wanted to ridicule Yi Chen once more, its mad laughter suddenly turned into a tone of sheer terror. "No!" At this moment, looking towards Yi Chen, it saw the endless divine light releasing from Yi Chen's hand. This endless divine light was the fearsome Cosmic Emperor power from the life-saving scroll. Yi Chen could sense that there was definitely a great secret hidden within this terrifying soul. And Yi Chen could further sense that the fire-red plant that flew out from the side of this eerie blue soul held even greater secrets. Even though the eerie blue soul flew out of the fire-red plant, the rich treasure aura inside the fire-red plant did not diminish at all. Clearly, a great treasure was hidden inside, while the eerie blue soul merely borrowed the treasure aura to conceal itself. Facing such situations, in addition to this soul intent on killing him, Yi Chen was certainly determined to expend the life-saving scroll and kill these souls in the field, to uncover their secrets and the secrets within the fire-red plant. Yi Chen wasn't just bluffing the terrifying face. Having long practiced soul-searching secret skills and possessing countless tactics, Yi Chen obviously had ways to obtain the secrets of these souls. Yi Chen had also considered that the power expended from the life-saving scroll to fully refine these souls was still within his endurance. Under these circumstances, Yi Chen certainly wouldn't waste any more words with these arrogant souls. Bang! 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 While Yi Chen activated the life-saving scroll's power towards the eerie blue light sphere, his primordial star scripture, Tai Yu chapter's divine power moved simultaneously. Unexpectedly, astonishing things happened, witnessed only as the unmatched power from the life-saving scroll shot into the eerie blue light sphere. Within, countless flickering souls were directly separated and then, under Yi Chen's Tai Yu chapter divine power, astonishingly drawn into individual special spaces. This kind of space turned out to be an origin power space that only formed through Yi Chen's practice of Tai Yu chapter. This space, Yi Chen had long comprehended, belonged to the universe's most mysterious kinds of space law, inclusive of ZG Star-Lord's insights into space. If it were living people, perhaps Yi Chen would struggle, but these souls, far below the Star-Lord realm, entirely at Yi Chen's mercy, certainly couldn't break free from the binding of Yi Chen's origin power space. Yi Chen directly used the life-saving scroll's power to wholly suppress the human face formed by numerous souls into soul form, capturing them all into individual origin power spaces. Even the most powerful terrifying face claimed as a peak presence among cosmic emperors screamed in plea, reduced to primitive soul state by Yi Chen, and captured into one of the origin power spaces. Subsequently, Yi Chen enveloped his soul with the life-saving scroll's power, employing soul-searching secret skills, first aiming to search the soul of the weakest one. Chapter 1144, Refining God Chart, Chaos Cauldron. After completing the soul search of the weakest soul, Yi Chun pondered deeply. Looking at the consumption of the life-saving scroll, Yi Chen's mind and spirit shifted, probing another soul within another origin power space. Like this, Yi Chun searched the souls of dozens before condensing all his mind and spirit, beginning to search the soul of the most powerful Cosmic Emperor-level soul. The Cosmic Emperor-level soul was immensely powerful. Even if the body suffered indestructible damage and fell, only the soul remained with greatly reduced strength. It was still too powerful for Yi Chun. If Yi Chun did not have the Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll providing power and the soul-searching technique, he could not probe such a soul's secrets. Even with the protection of the Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll, Yi Chun remained extremely cautious to avoid affecting his own soul. Even so, Yi Chun consumed about a quarter of the Cosmic Emperor-level scroll's power to thoroughly uncover all the secrets hidden within these souls. Adding the previous battle with the soul and the search of other souls, Yi Chen's Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll's power was nearly one-third consumed. It should be known, Yi Chun only had this one Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll. And this one was related to Yi Chen's life-preserving trump card in exploring the primal beginning universe. Once consumed, not only would Yi Chun lack the strongest life-saving scroll, he would lose the qualification to venture the primal beginning universe. Spending nearly a third of the life-saving scroll's power on this matter seemed a huge loss. However, after thoroughly investigating these soul's secrets, Yi Chun was not disappointed or regretful, but instead showed an incredibly surprised expression. Yi Chen's gaze directly fixed on the side where the blue soul sphere previously flew out, a fiery red plant, filled with excitement. Unexpectedly, inside this fiery red plant, a great secret is truly hidden. Not in vain did I expend so much life-saving scroll power. Boom! Yi Chen's finger pointed violently at the fiery red plant beside him, with mysterious spells flickering on his finger. After a few breaths, the fiery plant burst into flames as if an illusion was torn open. The fiery plant directly disappeared, revealing two objects inside. This fiery red plant turned out not to be a real plant, but a kind of spatial illusion secret technique, with treasures hidden inside. Looking at the two revealed objects, one could see one was a rolled-up chart, and the other was a tightly closed, palm-sized small cauldron. Seeing these two items, various pieces of information obtained from the soul search flashed through Yi Chen's mind. Turned out, Yi Chun exerted the life-saving scroll to suppress and kill the Cosmic Emperor soul, which really belonged to a Cosmic Emperor. Furthermore, this Cosmic Emperor was not of Blue Gold City, nor of the 36 powers that governed the 36 regions. This Cosmic Emperor came from another realm in the Cosmic Sea, the West Pole realm. According to the Cosmic Emperor soul's recorded information, the entire Cosmic Sea is divided into East Extreme Region, West Pole realm, Southern Polar Region, North Pole realm, and the Central Cosmic Origin Sea realm. These 5 vast regions are far beyond any ordinary universe in comparison. The 36 powers, such as the Ancestral God Temple, are powers from the East Extreme region. This deceased Cosmic Emperor, whose soul was searched by Yi Chun, was from the West Pole realm, and even though he was a Cosmic Emperor, he had never been to the East Extreme region. This time, he came not especially, but to escape after a major upheaval. Seeing the bits and pieces recorded in this Cosmic Emperor soul, Yi Chun couldn't help but sigh with emotion. This Cosmic Emperor could be said to be a peerless personage. Born in a universe governed by a great power in the West Pole realm, this Cosmic Emperor was also a true peerless genius, rising step by step from the weakest True Chi realm, cultivating to Divine Master realm, and finally venturing to the Cosmic Sea. And in the Cosmic Sea, this Cosmic Emperor continued to grow, from Divine Master to Cosmic Emperor, and finally reached the pinnacle level of Cosmic Emperor. However, upon reaching this level, the potential of this peerless genius finally exhausted. Despite a lifetime of efforts, he felt unable to break through to Star-Lord realm, and his endless lifespan started to make him feel worse than death in facing increasingly terrifying divine tribulations inherent for Cosmic Emperors. He sensed, perhaps he wouldn't withstand and completely collapse in the next divine tribulation. In such a situation, only by breaking through to Star-Lord realm could he continue to strengthen. In the West Pole realm where he resided, he found no opportunity, so the Cosmic Emperor came to the Primal Beginning universe seeking new opportunities. Indeed, this Cosmic Emperor found an opportunity. He discovered a huge secret area in the Primal Beginning universe, far from the area governed by the 36 powers, located in another region of the Primal Beginning universe, a secret place named Chaos Void. Rumored, Chaos Void contains countless divine medicines, relics left by star-level beings who ventured into the Primal Beginning universe, and even treasures left by seated Star-Lords. Chapter 11:45. However, the dangers inside the Chaos Void are extremely terrifying. This Cosmic Emperor expended immense effort to finally enter the Chaos Void. But what he didn't expect was that inside the Chaos Void, there were many other Cosmic Emperors like him seeking endless treasures, and there were countless peak-level beings even stronger than him. During an adventure inside the Chaos Void, a peerless treasure erupted, and the Cosmic Emperor accidentally obtained a small cauldron, but was then pursued by more than 10 other Cosmic Emperors. Finally, this Cosmic Emperor managed to escape the pursuit due to an ancient teleportation divine formation he discovered within the Chaos Void, inadvertently being transported to the interior of the 13th Chaos Zone. Even though he escaped death, the Cosmic Emperor was left with indelible poison scars. In the end, his physical body completely fell, leaving only his soul surviving. Even with only his soul surviving, the Cosmic Emperor was confident that he could be reborn, because he practiced the 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills, allowing him to body snatch and be reborn. Under such circumstances, the soul of this Cosmic Emperor destroyed the ancient teleportation divine formation on this side of the 13th Chaos Zone and continued to hide in the Chaos Ghost Mist realm, suitable for his soul to stay, waiting for an opportunity to body snatch someone he could defeat. When the 13th Chaos Zone was only able to be explored by Cosmic Emperors, he remained hidden, as in his soul-only state, he couldn't resist a true Cosmic Emperor. He kept waiting for a weaker person to arrive at the Chaos Ghost Mist realm. As for a master or divine master, he was absolutely confident of dealing with them. When Yi-Chun arrived within the range of the area where he was in the Chaos Ghost Mist realm, upon sensing Yi-Chun, this Cosmic Emperor's soul was thrilled to the extreme. Although he could see Yi-Chun was an incredibly talented heavenly divine venerable, as a former peerless genius himself, of course, he wouldn't fear a small genius like Yi-Chun. He directly released the aura of treasures to lure Yi-Chun. But he never expected Yi-Chun to have such powerful cards in hand, that a heavenly divine venerable like him would possess a Cosmic Emperor-level life-saving scroll. Ultimately, the soul of this Cosmic Emperor was left only with endless regret and remorse. He regretted not waiting longer for a weaker person to arrive and regretted choosing the wrong person to body snatch, ultimately leading to the complete demise of his soul. Yi-Chun sensed all the thoughts of this Cosmic Emperor through soul search. However, despite his size over the Cosmic Emperor, Yi-Chun felt no sympathy at all and even perceived that the Cosmic Emperor deserved his fate. It should be known that the souls attacking Yi-Chun this time were not just the soul of this Cosmic Emperor alone. There were countless other souls. And those souls were the souls of those killed by the Cosmic Emperor, refined to practice the 10,000 souls life-seizing divine skills. Through soul search, Yi-Chun even learned that many other souls were directly killed by this Cosmic Emperor for no reason, and even their souls were refined, retaining only some basic information and lingering soul power, while their true soul core had already died. To practice the 10,000 souls life-seizing secret skills and gain more chances to stay alive, this Cosmic Emperor committed countless great sins, deserving his death. Perhaps his fate of being pursued and ultimately dying in the Chaos Ghost Mist after trying to seize that small cauldron was karma ordained by destiny. After learning about the Cosmic Emperor's circumstances, Yi-Chun felt not a shred of sympathy for the Cosmic Emperor. Yi-Chun even personally destroyed the last remnants of his soul, truly making the Cosmic Emperor fall. Yi-Chun was sighing over three matters. The first matter is that, no matter how genius-like the Cosmic Emperor was, he eventually had growth limitations, reaching the peak where further progress became impossible. The second matter is that both the Cosmic Sea and Primal Beginning universe are too vast. The area governed by the 36 major forces is merely a very small faction of the primal beginning universe. The third matter is that humans die for wealth and birds die for food. Even at the level of Cosmic Emperor, one cannot escape this fate. The Cosmic Emperor went to the Chaos Void and obtained a powerful treasure, but attracted fatal troubles. Ultimately, he perished after fleeing. After sighing for a while, Yi Chun put these matters behind him. Neither the exceedingly vast primal beginning universe nor the cosmic sea is a place Yi Chun can venture freely now. Let alone peak-level cosmic emperors, even against a master, if Yi Chun didn't have his life-saving scroll, he wouldn't be able to handle them. Moreover, he only possesses one life-saving scroll, which can only be used for a period in the primal beginning universe. Yi Chun knows that his immediate priority is to become stronger. Heavenly Divine Venerable, Immortal Divine Venerable, Sovereign, Divine Master. Yi Chun has a long path to follow. Finally, Yi Chun's gaze shifted to the two items that appeared after the fiery red plant dissipated. Through soul search, he already knows what these two items are. The picture scroll named Refining God Chart was the strongest secret treasure of the Cosmic Emperor during his lifetime, specially refined and usable within the primal beginning universe. Inside the Refining God Chart, there are many powerful things. If it weren't for many things requiring the divine power of the essence, chi, and spirit signs of life to activate, many strong methods would be unusable by the Cosmic Emperor with only his soul left. Even Yi Chun, possessing a life-saving scroll, surviving would be uncertain. After all, this was the Cosmic Emperor's strongest secret treasure, always carried with him. Yi Chun has already discovered many secrets inside the Refining God Chart. Because he understands the strength of the Refining God Chart, even though the life-saving scroll consumed nearly 1/3 of its power, Yi Chun doesn't regret it at all. Because the Refining God Chart cannot be used by the soul-stranded Cosmic Emperor, but Yi Chun can definitely use it now, and even after soul search, Yi Chun learned the method to activate the Refining God Chart. What hidden within the Refining God Chart will surely provide tremendous help to Yi Chun in exploring the primal beginning universe. Yi Chun finally possesses a great secret treasure from a Cosmic Emperor, in addition to the life-saving scroll, to venture into the primal beginning universe. What shook Yi Chun's heart, besides the Refining God Chart, is the other small cauldron. The palm-sized small cauldron, which Yi Chun knows, is named Chaos Cauldron. This cauldron originates from one of the most mysterious realms in the primal beginning universe, inside the Chaos Void, able to induce countless cosmic emperors to scramble, even leading to the Cosmic Emperor being chased and eventually perishing. It can be imagined what a wondrous item it is. Chapter 1146. Great Hanging Forest. Yi Chun watched the small cauldron floating in the void. This cauldron was palm-sized, a four-legged square cauldron with a lid tightly fastened on top. Looking at the body of the cauldron, it was engraved with strange characters that were neither used in the Cosmic Sea nor in the other major universes, totally indecipherable. More special was the cauldron being shrouded in a faint mist, which seemed even more mysterious than the chaos chi Yi Chun had absorbed. After examining the small cauldron for a few breaths, Yi Chun pinched a spell in his hand. An unrivaled divine power converged towards the small cauldron, attempting to remove the lid. Yi Chun's current divine power was extraordinarily strong, yet it couldn't even budge the lid in the slightest. Seeing this situation, Yi Chun wasn't discouraged, but instead showed a look of realization. This small cauldron, from the Cosmic Emperor's soul memories, also showed that even the Cosmic Emperor could not easily open it, let alone my current state. To open this cauldron, either attaining Star-Lord level combat power or, as sensed when the Cosmic Emperor first acquired this cauldron, finding 3 materials to open it is necessary. These 3 materials are the absolute divine fire, 9 source water, and immortal chaos wood. But these 3 things, it said, can only be found within the chaos void. I'm afraid it won't be easy for me to locate them anytime soon. Yi Chun sighed for a moment before putting away the small cauldron. This cauldron was evidently extraordinary. Even if Yi Chun couldn't open it now, obtaining such a treasure was a major gain, as it's something countless cosmic emperors would vie for, indicating that something valuable is inside. Though Yi Chun cannot currently venture to the Chaos Void to find those 3 materials for opening the cauldron, it doesn't mean he won't collect them one day in the future. After securing the Chaos Cauldron, Yi Chen's gaze shifted to the refining god chart beside him. This time, with a move of Yi Chen's spell, the refining god chart was directly activated by him, and several items flew out from it. The first item was a treasure shaped like a flower basket. The second item was a broken blade. The third item was 7 copper coins. Yi Chen drew these 3 items before him and, after closely observing them, began testing these treasures with divine power and divine soul. These 3 items were among the many treasures found in the Cosmic Emperor's refining god chart. Moreover, these particular treasures, known as ancient chaos treasures, were not specially refined by the Cosmic Emperor for use within the primal beginning universe, but were treasures discovered by the Cosmic Emperor there. The Cosmic Emperor had never used these 3 treasures, and they contained incredible powers within. With the Chaos Cauldron and refining god chart in his possession, Yi Chen dared not casually use other things from the Cosmic Emperor due to the attention of pursuing Cosmic Emperors. These 3 never-before-used ancient chaos treasures were suitable for Yi Chen to use against his enemies. After recognizing and thoroughly understanding the powers of these 3 ancient chaos treasures, Yi Chen put them away instead of placing them back into the refining god chart. Then, Yi Chen continued observing the other items left by the Cosmic Emperor in the refining god chart. Even if it wasn't convenient to use other things, Yi Chen first needed to understand them. If faced with a true life and death crisis, he wouldn't care about exposure or attention from other Cosmic Emperors. He would use these items when necessary. After sitting in this realm for several days, Yi Chen finally gathered everything and left this place. Returning to the familiar domain of the Chaos Ghost Mist, Yi Chen continued walking towards the central region of the 13th Chaos Zone. Perhaps Yi Chen spent too much time testing the Cosmic Emperor's refining god chart treasures, as he encountered no other adventurers within the Chaos Ghost Mist. Not only did he meet no one else, but Yi Chen also faced no other dangers in the mist. Heading towards the central region, after several more days, Yi Chen eventually saw an ancient giant gate from afar. According to the map, entering the central domain of the 13th Chaos Zone from the periphery involves passing through one giant gate after another. Passing through these gates, you officially step into the central domain of the 13th Chaos Zone. With a movement of divine light in his hand, the map of the 13th Chaos Zone issued by Lord Emperor Xin appeared in Yi Chen's hand. The central domain area corresponding to this giant gate in the Chaos Ghost Mist is known as the Great Hanging Forest. It's also a dangerous realm. With a frown, Yi Chen looked at the giant gate ahead. Unlike the periphery of the 13th Chaos Zone, which contains 4 types of domains, safe, dangerous, death, and unknown domains, the core area has far fewer safe domains. Dangerous domains and death domains are more prevalent, and unknown domains may even appear. As for the core innermost territory of the 13th Chaos Zone, it is the death realm and unknown territories. Even the Cosmic Emperor would not dare to venture in recklessly, and the Divine Master Overlords and below are even less daring to enter this time. Relatively speaking, although the central territory is more dangerous than the periphery, most people still want to venture in. After all, the chance of finding precious treasures in the central territory is much higher than in the periphery. Having come to the 13th Chaos Zone with great difficulty, these adventurers naturally want to gain more rewards. The Great Hanging Forest in front of Yi Chen is one of the dozen or so dangerous territories in the central region of the 13th Chaos Zone. Although it's not a safe region, it's not the more terrifying death realm either. Now, beside the life-saving scroll, Yi Chen has also refined many new treasures, significantly enhancing his strength, giving him more confidence to explore these regions. In the earlier ventures in the outer areas, Yi Chen had already gained many good items, including the refining god chart and chaos cauldron left by the Cosmic Emperor, and 3 black extreme ghost flowers each worth 3 million rotten gold points. Under these circumstances, Yi Chen would certainly not waste the opportunity to venture into the central region. After a slight frown, Yi Chen strode toward the giant gate ahead, and then his figure disappeared within it, completely entering the Great Hanging Forest of the 13th Chaos Zone's central region. The Great Hanging Forest is vast to the extreme. The scope it covers even extends to over a dozen peripheral areas. All the giant gates in the periphery of the 13th Chaos Zone lead to the Great Hanging Forest. At this moment, in a region in the eastern part of the Great Hanging Forest, Qianli Yuyu was frustrated to the extreme. I'm just an Earth Divine Venerable. I really shouldn't have entered the central region of the 13th Chaos Zone recklessly. Really shouldn't have entered this Great Hanging Forest. Knowing well that this is a dangerous realm, with dangers that even divine masters and overlords might not handle, why did I risk entering? It's all because I was too lucky in the outer regions at first, directly transmitted to a safe area, and unexpectedly obtained many treasures and spirit materials, making me lose my head. Didn't expect that as soon as I entered this great hanging forest, I encountered such danger. Looking towards Qianli Yuyu, one can see he is completely protected by a huge light shield, seemingly formed by the power of a scroll. And outside the light shield, 7 fearsome demon beasts resembling tigers and Tibetan mastiffs were surrounding Qianli Yuyu, occasionally attacking the defensive light shield around him. Tibetan mastiff beasts. These demons, by appearance, were indeed one of the several hundred kinds of demons documented to reside within the Great Hanging Forest, known as Tibetan mastiff beasts. Judging by their aura, these demons all possessed combat power at the 9th level Divine Master level. This is truly Qianli Yuyu's bad luck. According to the map, Tibetan mastiff beasts are cavern-dwelling creatures of the Great Hanging Forest, rarely appearing in the forest. In the eastern region of the Great Hanging Forest, they are the most formidable demons, but if they don't show up, the area is quite safe. Who would have thought that this deliberately chosen safe route would lead Qianli Yuyu to encounter Tibetan mastiff beasts out foraging, facing 7 at once? With 7 9th-level Divine Master beasts, Qianli Yuyu absolutely had no power to contend against them. Under such life-and-death circumstances, Qianli Yuyu could only bring out his Divine Master level life-saving scroll. Although Qianli Yuyu's life-saving scroll is also at the 9th level Divine Master level, he knew it could not handle so many demons when facing 7 9th level Divine Master Tibetan Mastiff beasts. He could only activate the defensive power of the scroll, hoping to hold on with its power. But under these Tibetan Mastiff beasts' continuous attacks, the power of the life-saving scroll was depleting rapidly, and Qianli Yuyu's face kept turning paler. He could feel that he could at most hold on for a few more hours before the scroll's power would be entirely exhausted. This was especially since these Tibetan mastiff beasts seemed to taunt him upon seeing the scroll being used, not attacking with full force, just slowly wearing down its power. Otherwise, if all 7 beasts attacked at full strength, the scroll might shatter in the very next moment. In such circumstances, Qianli Yuyu could only pray for the scroll to last a bit longer, and hope for other powerful adventurers to come to his aid. But what drove Qianli Yuyu to the peak of despair was that, upon trying to drive the spirit communication clasp, he could not sense others in his team. No sign of his own team nor any other teams. Seeing his life-saving scroll nearing its limit, the more his heart sank. Just then, Qianli Yuyu suddenly noticed that the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts surrounding him seemed to sense something. They all turned their heads sharply to look towards a certain direction. Qianli Yuyu quickly looked in that direction. Then, he saw a very familiar figure appearing in that territory. After glancing at the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts, that figure looked over at him. Chapter 1147. The Power of the Ancient Treasure. Yi Chun? Upon seeing this figure, Qianli Yuyu exclaimed in surprise. After waiting for so long, finally someone arrived, which of course made Qianli Yuyu extremely delighted. However, immediately after, Qianli Yuyu remembered that Yi Chun was only at the Heavenly Divine Venerable realm. Even though he knew Yi Chun had broken through from the Earth Divine Venerable to the Heavenly Divine Venerable realm in a short time and had talent even stronger than his, Yi Chun's realm was still too low. Clearly no match for the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts at the 9-fold Divine Master realm in front of him. Even if Yi Chun came to help, it would likely only result in another pointless death here. Thinking about this, Qianli Yuyu quickly shouted to Yi Chun, "Yi Chun, be careful. These are Tibetan mastiff beasts at the 9-fold Divine Master realm. Run quickly. Go find someone who can deal with them." Qianli Yuyu was not mistaken. The one who arrived in the Great Hanging Forest and met with Qianli Yuyu was indeed Yi Chun, who had just entered the central realm from the outer zone of the 13th Chaos Zone. However, to Qianli Yuyu's surprise, Yi Chun, who clearly heard his shouting, merely smiled at him and walked over. Qianli Yuyu tried to shout again, but it was already too late. Among the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts surrounding him, 4 of them directly leapt forward and lunged at Yi Chun, encircling him completely. This situation caused Qianli Yuyu's heart to sink. Although Yi Chun relieved him of pressure from 4 Tibetan mastiff beasts, being surrounded by the remaining 3, Qianli Yuyu still couldn't cope. This also dragged Yi Chun into the water, making Qianli Yuyu even more anxious. However, Qianli Yuyu also knew that since Yi Chun was a genius from various universes, he must have a life-saving scroll on him. Likely also a Divine Master Realm scroll like him based on Yi Chun's realm. Under such circumstances, Yi Chun wouldn't face any life-threatening danger in the short term. Whether he could survive later would depend on whether a powerful expert happened to pass by here. I hope both Yi Chun and I can withstand this. Just as Qianli Yuyu's mind was turbulent, an unexpected event occurred. Qianli Yuyu only noticed that faced with 4 Tibetan mastiff beasts, Yi Chun did not activate the life-saving scroll, but instead walked further toward the 4 Tibetan mastiff beasts. It seemed as if Yi Chun was not afraid of the 4 ninefold Divine Master Realm Tibetan mastiff beasts in front of him. Could it be? A thought suddenly flashed through Qianli Yuyu's mind. Could it be that Yi Chun possesses a more powerful Overlord-level life-saving scroll? But even an Overlord-level life-saving scroll needs to be activated. As Qianli Yuyu's spirit was intensely tense, the 4 Tibetan mastiff beasts that had surrounded Yi Chun, seeing him approach them, roared as if enraged and simultaneously attacked Yi Chun. They weren't just trying to block Yi Chun anymore. They intended to kill him outright. As Qianli Yuyu saw this scene and couldn't resist screaming out, just when the 4 ninefold Divine Master Realm Tibetan mastiff beasts charged at Yi Chun finally made his move. Swish. In an instant, a treasure appeared in Yi Chun's hand. 7 copper coins. This was one of the 3 ancient chaos treasures Yi Chun obtained from the Cosmic Emperor's refining god chart. As the 7 copper coins appeared, they eerily disappeared from Yi Chun's hands. The next moment, before Qianli Yuyu and the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts in the scene could react, the 7 copper coins expanded and appeared not only in front of the 4 Tibetan mastiff beasts attacking Yi Chun but also in front of the other 3 surrounding Qianli Yuyu. Then, the 7 copper coins suddenly expanded further, positioning themselves at the heads of the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts, with gaps directly locking onto their heads. Then, the 7 copper coins sharply contracted, decapitating the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts in an instant before they could react. Even more terrifying, on the 7 copper coins, there seemed to be an indescribable ancient fire. At the moment the heads of the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts were severed, ancient fire scattered from the copper coins, directly burning the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts. In an instant, the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts were reduced to void. From Yi Chun's action to the death of the 7 Tibetan mastiff beasts, it was merely a flash. It wasn't until these Tibetan mastiff beasts completely turned into void for a while that Qianli Yuyu regained his senses. Qianli Yuyu widened his eyes, looking at Yi Chun. He couldn't believe that Yi Chun had such means, exterminating 7 ninefold Divine Master Realm Tibetan mastiff beasts with a flip of the hand. Moreover, he did it without using a life-saving scroll. This was simply too incredible for Qianli Yuyu. Yi Chun, what treasure is this? Heaven. Wasn't it said that after coming to the primal beginning universe, none of the treasures from the outside could be used, and that all we had were life-saving scrolls? How come you have such powerful treasures? Seeing Qianli Yuyu looking completely incredulous, Yi Chun just smiled at him, reached out and gently grabbed, collecting the 7 copper coins back to himself. Then, Yi Chun said to Qianli Yuyu, "These treasures are not from the outside world. They are items I accidentally acquired in this primal beginning universe. Otherwise, the 2 of us divine venerables could not handle these 9th-level divine master-tier Tibetan mastiff beasts. I hope that you, Brother Qianli, will not tell others about the existence of this treasure." Yi Chen's words snapped Qianli Yuyu out of his disbelief. He quickly said to Yi Chen, "Yi Chen, this time you saved my life, and I will never forget this great favor. I absolutely won't tell anyone about this treasure. Also, although my realm is not high and my talent does not match yours, so I may not be able to help you much. However, my younger sister, Qianli Xiaoxiao, is the top genius of our Tianwu universe. You saved me, and in the future, I will definitely ask my sister to help repay you," Qianli Yuyu said, patting his chest to reassure Yi Chen. Yi Chen smiled, although he saved Qianli Yuyu not for any repayment. Since Qianli Yuyu said so, he couldn't say much. "Brother Qianli, what are your plans next?" Yi Chen changed the topic and asked Qianli Yuyu. Qianli Yuyu looked at Yi Chen, pondered for a moment, and then bowed to Yi Chen. "Brother Yi Chen, I have an unreasonable request. I know, with my strength, there will probably be many dangers in the central region of this 13th Chaos Zone. But I still want to brave through the 13th Chaos Zone again, and I hope Brother Yi Chen can look after me. Of course, if we do encounter dangers that you, Brother Yi Chen, cannot handle, you can feel free to abandon me. I will not complain at all. If we encounter any treasure along the way, Brother Yi Chen, you can take it. Even if it's a treasure I discover, you can take the lion's share and just leave a little for me." After saying this, Qianli Yuyu looked nervously at Yi Chen. He knew that although he had a divine master-level life-saving scroll, in front of Yi Chen's miraculous treasures that could effortlessly kill 9th-level divine master-tier demon beasts, he was of no use. In fact, he was just a burden. He could only hope that Yi Chen would take him along more, considering they were both geniuses exploring the primal beginning universe. Yi Chen looked at Qianli Yuyu, seeing his nervous expression. Yi Chen pondered for a moment, then smiled and said, "Since I'm wandering through the 13th Chaos Zone alone, it is rather lonely. If Brother Qianli wants to join, then let's go together. However, if we really encounter dangers that I can't withstand, I will indeed leave first. As for treasures, whoever discovers it will own it. There's no need for too much fuss." Yi Chen's words brought great joy to Qianli Yuyu. Qianli Yuyu never expected Yi Chen to be so agreeable. "Brother Yi Chen, your great kindness, I will never forget." Qianli Yuyu solemnly bowed deeply to Yi Chen before getting up. Yi Chen patted Qianli Yuyu on the shoulder and looked ahead. "Let's go. I've just arrived at the Great Hanging Forest myself. Let's go and explore other places." "All right." Qianli Yuyu quickly nodded. He completely followed Yi Chen's lead. The two of them headed deeper into the Great Hanging Forest. After about half an hour, Yi Chen and Qianli Yuyu walked past a mountain hollow in the Great Hanging Forest, where 7 or 80 demon beasts' corpses burned with fierce flames, and in an instant they all turned to nothingness. Looking at these slain demon beasts, the shock in Qianli Yuyu's heart had not faded at all. This was already the 4th wave of demon beasts Yi Chen had killed after wandering the Great Hanging Forest with him. Moreover, these 70 or 80 demon beasts were the notorious overlord-level great demons of the Great Hanging Forest, Zongmeng beasts. When Yi Chen activated the 7 copper coin treasures, they instantly flashed towards the 70 or 80 overlord-level Zongmeng beasts, and the 7 copper coins instantaneously transformed into 14, then into 28, matching the number of demon beasts, strangled these great demons with their heads severed and burned them all to death. Qianli Yuyu was utterly astonished. He never expected that the treasure in Yi Chen's hand could not only kill the previous waves of divine master-level demon beasts, but also even kill overlord-level demon beasts. Even though these overlord-level demon beasts were just the weakest grade of lower tribulation great demons, they were absolutely terrifying. What's even more terrifying was that Yi Chen's treasure could instantly multiply into more treasures, and its divine might did not diminish in the slightest. It could practically execute a mass slaughter. This made Qianli Yuyu admire Yi Chen to the extreme. Both were adventuring in the primal beginning universe. Yet Yi Chen managed to acquire such a powerful treasure. What Qianli Yuyu did not know was that after driving the copper coins to slay several waves of demon beasts, Yi Chen was sighing in his heart. "I didn't expect that the weakest of these ancient treasures would have such terrifying divine might. Qianli Yuyu had no idea that this copper coin treasure was not the most powerful treasure Yi Chun possessed. Yi Chun had two other ancient treasures far more potent than this copper coin treasure. What Qianli Yuyu couldn't imagine was that the life-saving scroll Yi Chun possessed was not the Divine Master level or even Overlord level scroll he had expected, but the most precious of all, akin to the one his sister Qianli Xiaoxiao had obtained, the Cosmic Emperor level life-saving scroll. The means Yi Chun had at his disposal far surpassed his imagination. What was exposed now was just a tiny fraction. Chapter 1148. Assembly. Of course, although Yi Chun had many powerful ancient treasures on him and possessed many formidable means, he didn't allow a trace of arrogance to enter his heart. After all, these ancient treasures are external objects. Just like the life-saving scroll, no matter how they can kill Overlord-level demons or handle threats at the Cosmic Emperor level, their energy is finite and doesn't belong to Yi Chun. Once used, they diminish. Once depleted, they will be completely expended. These can only be used as life-saving trump cards in critical moments. What Yi Chun could truly rely on has always been his own combat power. Yi Chun had never forgotten his purpose for coming to the primal beginning universe. He wanted to break through to the sovereign level or even the divine master level within it. Currently, he's just at the level of a heavenly divine venerable, still so far to go. Even though Yi Chun had made a significant breakthrough in combat power over the past few months, there was still a long way to go. He must continue to push forward. Only by truly elevating his realm to an extremely high level and raising his various cultivation techniques to the utmost heights can he face any threat fearlessly. After slaying 70 to 80 Zongmeng beasts, Yi Chun and Qianli Yuyu continued towards the center of the 13th Chaos Zone. Soon, the two stopped. This time, it wasn't because they encountered a threat from demons again, but rather they finally discovered something precious in this great hanging forest. Chaos Gold Divine Mushroom. Yi Chun saw ahead in the mountain forest, on a patch of black soil, where 3 clusters of divine fungi were growing, each radiating a golden color with roots glistening like rubies. By their appearance, they were precisely the rare treasure mentioned on the map issued by Lord Emperor Xian in the 13th Chaos Zone, Chaos Gold Divine Mushroom. Each cluster of Chaos Gold Divine Mushroom can be exchanged for a staggering 20 million blue gold points. To know, the 3 black extreme ghost flowers Yi Chun obtained in the Chaos Ghost Mist of the outer regions could only be exchanged for 900,000 blue gold points combined, which was already an astronomical reward for Yi Chun. Now, in front of him were even more precious Chaos Gold Divine Mushrooms, altogether 3 clusters, totaling an exchange of 60 million blue gold points. How could Yi Chun not be overjoyed? 60 million blue gold points, according to Blue Gold City's exchange rules, were enough to obtain many extraordinarily valuable divine weapons, cultivation techniques, divine pills, and divine medicine. When Yi Chun discovered the Chaos Gold Divine Mushrooms and called out, Qianli Yuyu followed his gaze and saw them too. Qianli Yuyu was equally pleasantly surprised. Chaos Gold Divine Mushroom. It really is Chaos Gold Divine Mushroom. Each cluster can be exchanged for 20 million blue gold points. Yi Chun, congratulations! These 3 clusters of Chaos Gold Divine Mushrooms were discovered by Yi Chun, and Qianli Yuyu had no intention of competing with him. Besides, he couldn't compete even if he wanted to. Yi Chun had saved him, and Qianli Yuyu had no intention of vying for what was his. In fact, Qianli Yuyu was worried Yi Chun hadn't noticed the map's warning and kindly reminded him, Yi Chun, don't pick those Chaos Gold Divine Mushrooms yet. According to the map, such treasures are guarded by demons, possibly very formidable ones. It hasn't shown up yet, so we shouldn't act rashly.
Yi Chun nodded.
Upon discovering the 3 clusters of Chaos Gold Divine Mushrooms, Yi Chun had already used his divine sense to scout the area. Qianli Yuyu noticed the map's warning about the presence of guard demons near the Chaos Gold Divine Mushroom, and Yi Chun had also noted this. Where are those guard demons hiding? Despite the divine sense scanning the surroundings, finding no abnormal situations puzzled Yi Chun. While Yi Chun and Qianli Yuyu were cautiously on guard, suddenly, from below the ground where they stood, a killing force erupted. In an instant, the terrifying killing force swept towards Yi Chun and Qianli Yuyu. The guard demon was hidden underground. In the underground of the great hanging forest, there was a mysterious obstructive force that neither Yi-chan nor Qianli Yuyu could penetrate. Under such circumstances, if someone else were attacked by the instantaneous killing force, they would likely be killed in a moment. But Yi-chan was no ordinary person. As the killing force swept in, the 7 copper coins on Yi-chan's body instantly responded, shattering the killing force with even greater speed, followed by a flash of divine light, disappearing thereafter. Simultaneously, Yi-chan pulled Qianli Yuyu as they soared into the sky. As Yi-chan and Qianli Yuyu leapt upward, evading the killing force, the disappearing 7 copper coins had already entered the ground below, reaching the site of the ambush. Squeak! In a flash, the 7 copper coins locked onto the guard demon, pulling it out from the ground. The guard demon screeched sharply but couldn't break free from the binding of the 7 copper coins. Yi-chan looked towards this demon and saw that it was a red, rat-like demon. Black Spirit Rat. Recalling its appearance, Yi-chan's mind flashed with the descriptions of various demons from the 13th Chaos Zone on the map, identifying this creature in an instant. The Black Spirit Rat Demon, an exceedingly troublesome demon in the 13th Chaos Zone. Known for its ability to burrow through the ground, extreme lightning speed, toxic gas, and sharp claws, it is a gregarious animal and, once it acts as a group, poses a threat to many masters. If it weren't for the copper coin ancient treasure on Yi-chan's body being extremely fast and having demon-locking divine might, he might not have caught this Black Spirit Rat. After discovering that the guardian demon was the Black Spirit Rat and capturing it, Yi-chan did not relax at all. His gaze flickered, and he looked again towards the ground below. The Black Spirit Rat is a gregarious animal and generally acts in groups. Yi-chan does not believe there is only this one Black Spirit Rat here. Indeed, as soon as Yi-chan looked down, a chilling sound came from the more distant area. Then, Yi-chan and Qianli Yuyu saw that as many as 100 Black Spirit Rats emerged from various places around. Their eyes black as the void, all staring at Yi-chan and Qianli Yuyu, as if they intended to completely devour them. Squeak! Squeak! Once these 100 Black Spirit Rats emerged from the ground, they rushed towards Yi-chan and Qianli Yuyu with incredible speed among chaotic squeals. Seeing this situation, Yi-chan pinched a spell with his hand. The 7 copper coins that had locked the Black Spirit Rat earlier tightened and strangled it, and then the coins transformed from 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, again turning into countless copper coins, rushing towards the 100 Black Spirit Rats. An astonishing scene occurred. It was seen that beside each Black Spirit Rat, there were at least 7 newly transformed copper coins appearing, and around the 100 Black Spirit Rats, there were densely packed copper coins filling the sky. These copper coins, with a speed faster than the Black Spirit Rats, locked them all up, fixed in the void. 100 Black Spirit Rats, all fixed in the void. This scene was simply terrifying. As is known, these Black Spirit Rats are much more formidable than the 70 or 80 Zongmeng beasts that Yi-chan had dealt with before. Yet even so, they could not withstand the divine might of the copper coin ancient treasure. Watching the 100 Black Spirit Rats locked alive in the void, Qianli Yuyu's mouth dropped open. All the copper coins tightened violently, directly killing the 100 Black Spirit Rats on the spot. And then the flames on the coins burned fiercely, incinerating the rat swarm into nothingness. Then, Yi-chan reached out a large hand toward the 3 clusters of Chaos Gold divine mushrooms ahead, grabbing them in his hand. From Yi-chan capturing the first Black Spirit Rat, exterminating all the Black Spirit Rats, to collecting the treasure, all occurred in the blink of an eye. Qianli Yuyu was still in a daze when she saw Yi-chan had resolved all the demons. Just as Qianli Yuyu intended to speak with Yi-chan further, she saw that Yi-chan, having collected the Chaos Gold divine mushrooms, flipped his hand to store them in his spatial divine artifact and then looked directly in a particular direction. "Fellow Taoist, come out and meet us." Yi-chan's voice startled Qianli Yuyu greatly. "Is there someone else nearby?" Qianli Yuyu had not noticed anything. With Qianli Yuyu's surprised gaze and Yi-chan's attention, the air rippled where Yi-chan was looking, and a figure appeared directly. This was the figure of a master. Yi Chun recognized the person as one of the overlord from the most prominent team from the Primordial God Mountain faction among the 30 teams participating in the 13th Chaos Zone exploration. After revealing himself, the master looked at Yi Chun, eyes flashing with a bright light. Unexpectedly, a heavenly divine venerable genius can have such observation skills, even discovering my hidden presence. The treasure in your hand can annihilate those black spirit rats, attributed to the divine might of the treasure itself, but discovering me relied on your own ability, the master said to Yi Chun, with an incredulous expression in his words. This master did not know that once Yi Chun stepped into the great hanging forest, he had imprinted a space star aperture in his body, allowing him to sense the great hanging forest much more acutely than others. Moreover, with Yi Chun's already extraordinary divine sense, once this master hid, Yi Chun noticed his movements. If it weren't for noticing the master appearing when he exterminated the black spirit rats, Yi Chun would have suspected that he was ambushing him for the Chaos Gold divine mushrooms. I wonder why the senior hides nearby, Yi Chun asked, looking at this master from the Primordial God Mountain, unperturbed as ever and even somewhat wary. Seeing Yi Chun's expression and the stunned Qianli Yuyu beside him, the master smiled and said to Yi Chun, "Young genius, don't worry. I'm not here for the Chaos Gold divine mushrooms you just got. Encountering you two was unexpected. However, your combat strength and potent probing ability indeed surprised me, making you just fit for the spot I've been searching everywhere for." Just fit for a spot? The words of the master from Primordial God Mountain puzzled Yi Chun. Senior, what do you mean by this? The master from Primordial God Mountain looked toward the depths of the 13th Chaos Zone and explained to Yi Chun. In front, we discovered an unknown realm with an unparalleled treasure land inside. However, that treasure land requires 27 people to activate. Among these, 9 must be people below the Divine Master realm to be suitable. Therefore, I'm under orders from my team leader to find suitable candidates everywhere, gathering them together to go to that unparalleled treasure land. Chapter 1149. Giant Tree Temple. Unknown Territory. Inside, there's a supreme treasure land. The words of the master from the Primordial God Mountain team made Yi Chun's eyes flash with brilliance. Yi Chun hadn't expected that an unknown territory would appear in the middle region of the 13th Chaos Zone, and it had already been discovered by the Primordial God Mountain team. As for the master's invitation to risk the supreme treasure land, Yi Chun was also very tempted. After all, other territories surely don't have as high a probability of treasures appearing as unknown territories do. Unknown territories often present treasures that have never been seen before. Although unknown territories are exceedingly dangerous, even presenting situations difficult for the Cosmic Emperor to handle, the fact that the Primordial God Mountain team is already gathering people to explore the supreme treasure land indicates they've overcome many obstacles, at least making it safer to enter the supreme treasure land. In addition, Yi Chun had just obtained many treasures with formidable combat power, along with the life-saving scroll in his hands, boosting his confidence to venture into the unknown territory. This time, 9 people below the Divine Master Realm are needed to explore, totaling 27 adventurers, and Yi Chun's own team probably has some experts among them. Considering this, Yi Chun naturally was willing to take a chance. The path of cultivation is fraught with challenges. Yi Chun has braved countless dangers to reach his current achievements. Now, at the realm of Heavenly Divine Venerable, he certainly doesn't want to stop here. Despite the turbulent thoughts within, Yi Chun's face remained unchanged. The master from Primordial God Mountain looked at Yi Chun, knowing he was weighing the pros and cons, and patiently waited. After Yi Chun contemplated for a while, he smiled and asked, "Well, little genius, will you join our team to explore the supreme treasure land?" Yi Chun glanced at Qianli Yuyu beside him. Qianli Yuyu also knew this opportunity was invaluable for Yi Chun. Seeing Yi Chun's gaze, he hurriedly said to Yi Chun, "Brother Yi Chun, your strength is enough to venture into that unknown territory. Since the Primordial God Mountain team has discovered the supreme treasure land, this opportunity must not be missed. As for me, not to mention the unknown territory, without you, brother Yi Chun, I wouldn't even dare venture further into the great hanging forest. You don't have to worry about me, just go ahead. I'll withdraw from the central region and find the exit to Blue Gold City. This expedition into the 13th Chaos Zone had no time limit set by the great power holders of Blue Gold City, only the assurance that if one didn't have confidence, they could exit through the marked map's exit, where someone would meet them to return to Blue Gold City. Knowing that Yi Chen had the opportunity to venture into the unknown territory made Qianli Yuyu plan for an early withdrawal. Without Yi Chen's protection, he didn't dare to continue recklessly. Stopping here might not necessarily be a bad thing. Hearing Qianli Yuyu's words, Yi Chen nodded. He looked at the master from Primordial God Mountain and said, "Since the senior invited, I, Yi Chen, will follow the elder and venture into that unknown supreme treasure land." Hearing Yi Chen agree to explore, the master from Primordial God Mountain was overjoyed. He had seen Yi Chen in action and knew Yi Chen possessed extraordinary treasures, which even many masters lacked, and these treasures would be invaluable for the team's exploration of the supreme treasure land. In fact, Yi Chen's value, among the 9 people required below the Divine Master realm, might be the highest. Under these circumstances, Yi Chen agreeing to act together filled the master with great joy. All right, since young friend agreed to act together, let's set off and look for other companions suitable for opening the treasure land. The master from Primordial God Mountain became more intimate in his address to Yi Chen. The master then said to Qianli Yuyu beside them, "As for this friend, since you're withdrawing from the 13th Chaos Zone, you can join us first. We're searching for other team companions, and we'll definitely pass by the 13th Chaos Zone exit, so you can leave conveniently." The master's words delighted Qianli Yuyu. Qianli Yuyu was slightly worried about the return journey. Having this master from Primordial God Mountain and Yi Chen escort him to the exit was much safer than traveling alone. "Thank you, senior and brother Yi Chen." Qianli Yuyu quickly expressed gratitude. "Let's set off." The master from Primordial God Mountain smiled and led Yi Chen and Qianli Yuyu towards other regions of the Great Hanging Forest. During the journey, through conversation with this master, Yi Chen learned much information. The Primordial God Mountain Master before him was named Situ Chan, also a Greater Tribulation Master, but from his words it was clear that his strength was less than Hua Tianjue, the other master from Primordial God Mountain. Hua Tianjue, as the team leader of the Primordial God Mountain, had reached the peak level of the Dominion Realm, just half a step away from the Cosmic Emperor level. As for Hua Tianjue's combat power, it's said to be the strongest among Blue Gold City's masters, possibly even capable of defeating many Cosmic Emperors outside. After arriving at the 13th Chaos Zone, the Primordial God Mountain team's 2 masters, for Divine Masters, and the super genius Yushindu, like Yi Chen's team, were all scattered. However, upon reaching the central region, 4 of the 7 members of the Primordial God Mountain team encountered each other. Among them were the 2 masters, Hua Tianjue and Situ Chan, 1 Divine Master, and Yushindu. After discovering the supreme treasure land within the unknown territory, they realized that it required 27 people to open simultaneously. Under such circumstances, the 4 of them searched different territories to find suitable people to invite them to join the team to open the supreme treasure land. Just as Situ Chen found Yi Chen, the others are also searching for teammates in various territories. Having learned about these matters, Yi Chen's mind and spirit stirred. In this scenario, it seems highly likely that his teammates Yuan Qingzi and Xuanchu Zi, who are dominators, might also be invited to join the team. After all, Yi Chen had heard Yuan Qingzi mention that his and Xuanchu Zi's combat power was definitely among the top in Blue Gold City's dominators. The probability of them being invited by the Primordial God Mountain team for joint action is extremely high. It's more reassuring to have some familiar faces while exploring that peerless treasure land. However, the most crucial thing is still to rely on oneself. Yi Chen sensed the various treasures he had stored on himself, pondering in his mind and spirit. 2 days later, Yi Chen and Situ Chen, along with 6 other individuals, stood before a giant tree. Here lies the entrance to that unknown realm. Standing before the giant tree, Situ Chen spoke to Yi Chen and the others. These 6 individuals were other suitable adventurers Yi-chan and Situ-chan had found over the past 2 days for team formation. With the guidance of the Greater Tribulation Master Situ-chan in the central region of the 13th Chaos Zone, Yi-chan encountered no dangers over the past 2 days. Among the 6, 2 were like Situ-chan, Greater Tribulation Masters, 3 were at the 9th level Divine Master Realm, and the last one, like Yi-chan, was below the Divine Master Realm, being a genius at the Sovereign Realm. This genius, at the Sovereign Realm from the universe governed by the 5th-ranked force among the 36 major forces, the Wutsong Gate, had also taken 2nd place in the Divine Venerate Battle of Stellar Domain Genius Battle in that universe, making him a super genius. He's currently at the 4-star Sovereign Realm, just a small tier below the 5-star Sovereign Realm of Yushindu among 30 low-realm geniuses. Therefore, he was chosen by Situ-chan and invited to join the expedition team. At this moment, upon hearing from Situ-chan that the giant tree was the entrance to the unknown realm, Yi-chan and the other 7 felt a bit astonished. Without Situ-chan's guidance, they might have unknowingly missed the entrance within the giant tree, even if they stumbled upon it. This place was discovered by our team captain, Hua Tianjue. Captain Hua Tianjue found a heaven and earth secret map in another realm, which pointed towards the unknown land, leading to the discovery of this entrance. Situ-chan explained to the 7, "Let's go, we should hurry inside." Presumably, the others have also found suitable companions for the mission. With that, Situ-chan flew towards a position about 7 feet above the ground on the giant tree and disappeared into it. Seeing this, the others didn't hesitate much. The other 2 dominators among the 7 followed closely behind Situ-chan and entered the giant tree, followed by the 3 9th-level Divine Masters, and lastly, the Sovereign Realm Genius also flew into the tree. Outside, only Yi-chan remained. Yi-chan looked at the giant tree, took a deep breath, and also flew into it. The next moment, after Yi-chan flew out of a chaotic divine light, he found himself on a vast expanse of purplish-brown land. In the distance ahead, he saw a colossal divine palace, floating in the void before him. "There lies the peerless treasure land we discovered." Situ-chan, voice somewhat excited, pointed towards the great divine palace in the void ahead and announced to everyone. Yi-chan's gaze turned towards the divine palace. Just the resplendent divine light emanating from it indicated its divine marvel. More shockingly to Yi-chan, the palace was evidently brimming with enormous divine power, rippling through the air, so much so that Yi-chan could feel the special nature of this realm even from afar. Simply relying on the flows of divine power here, cultivating in this realm is much faster than outside. This was merely the effect of the divine power spilling from the palace. If one could truly cultivate inside it, it might result in an astronomical leap in strength. A peerless treasure land, and from the peculiarity of the palace alone, Yi-chan and the others believed that this deeply hidden divine palace was undoubtedly a peerless treasure land. "Let's go. Once you're closer, you'll better understand the uniqueness of this realm." Following Situ-chan, the group flew towards the divine palace. Yi-chan followed in the team's flight. This was the fabled unknown realm. Even though they hadn't encountered any dangers so far, Yi-chan remained cautious. After all, the unknown realm defies common reasoning. Even if the outside holds no danger, the interior of that divine palace surely hides peril within. When they landed below the divine palace, Yi-chan observed more clearly that around the base of the palace, there were 27 rings of light, each encased in a cluster of resplendent divine light. Simultaneously, an ancient stele stood outside the 27 light rings and the divine palace. When Yi-chan and the 7 reached the ancient stele following Situ-chan, 10 people were already waiting there. Chapter 1150, Chaotic Heavenly Hall, 9 Heavens.
Yi-chan.
When Yi-chan and his group of 7 saw the 10 people, the 10 also noticed Yi-chan and the others flying over. Among them, 2 people shouted directly at Yi-chan. These 2 were Xuanshu Zi, a master of the Greater Tribulation Dominion Realm, and Divine Master Yuan Feng, from the Ancestral God Temple team. These 2 were somewhat surprised to see Yi-chan being invited to this unknown location. After all, Although they knew from Yuan Qingzi that Yi Chun was a supreme genius and had activated the chaotic primordial qi on 2 Chaos Stone inscriptions in Chaos Origin Mountain, that only proved Yi Chen's exceptional talent. But exploring unknown locations clearly requires more than talent. One must have considerable combat power. Even the two of them, despite being at the top level in their respective realms, had only been invited by a divine master from Primordial God Mountain to take a look. The divine master had mentioned that the total number of places entering the divine temple was limited, and if too many people were brought over by other teams from Primordial God Mountain, they might not be selected. Under such circumstances, seeing Yi Chun being invited by a dominion from Primordial God Mountain was certainly surprising for the two. It's important to know that Yi Chun is still just a heavenly divine venerable, and although the divine temple trip required 9 people below the divine master realm, a heavenly divine venerable's realm is still very low. Could it be that Yi Chen's combat power is even more terrifying than his talent, convincing Dominion Situ Chan from Primordial God Mountain to invite him? However, even if invited, he, like us, may not ultimately be selected among the final 27 explorers, depending on the strength of others who come. Xuanchu Zi and Divine Master Yuan Feng had countless thoughts flashing through their minds, but they both showed expressions of joy and moved to welcome Yi Chun. Yi Chun didn't expect to meet members of his team in the unknown land. Although not the most familiar Yuan Qingzi, as long as they were from his team, there was still a sense of closeness. Senior Xuanchu Zi, Senior Yuan Feng. Yi Chun also flew towards the two. When the two teams gathered, Yi Chen's group of 7, along with Situ Chan, and the other team of 10 altogether made 18 people on the scene. Among the 18, aside from Situ Chan, who was responsible for gathering people, and that divine master from Primordial God Mountain, many of the other 16 showed unusual expressions. They had been informed by the two from Primordial God Mountain responsible for gathering allies that the total number of places to explore the unknown treasure land was 27, and with only 2 teams arriving, there were already 18 people. Depending on the situation, when the other 2 from Primordial God Mountain return with their gathered allies, their numbers are likely to exceed 27. People from Primordial God Mountain certainly wouldn't be excluded. Those who are invited, even if they have arrived here, won't necessarily be able to enter the divine temple. Under such circumstances, many people felt uneasy in their hearts. After all, having seen the divine marvels of the temple before them, they naturally wanted to be among the final 27 to enter. Everyone had different feelings. Standing with Xuanchu Zi and Yuan Feng, Yi Chun was rather calm. On the way to the unknown land, Situ Chan had told Yi Chun that he would definitely secure one of the 27 places for him, as Situ Chan was well aware of Yi Chen's prowess, even if others weren't. Situ Chan couldn't guarantee places for others, but Yi Chun had long been considered one of his indispensable allies. Of course, Yi Chun had absolute confidence to secure one of the places. At this moment, Yi Chen's gaze was fixed on the 27 light circles beneath the temple and the ancient stele in front. Seeing Yi Chun curiously gazing at the ancient stele, Xuanchu Zi and Yuan Feng pulled Yi Chun directly to its side. "Young friend Yi Chun, since you've just arrived, you should thoroughly study this ancient stele." Yi Chun smiled and nodded, focusing intently on the ancient stele. After reading the content inscribed on the ancient stele, Yi Chen's gaze changed as he saw the 27 light circles and the gigantic divine temple floating in the void. Chaotic Heavenly Hall. This temple is named Chaotic Heavenly Hall. According to the ancient stele, this hall is imbued with great opportunities, truly deserving to be called a supreme treasure land. Inside are the 9 heavens, each layer containing endless treasures. However, the stele also indicates that the interior of the hall is extremely dangerous, and obtaining the treasures will involve facing numerous unknown threats. Moreover, this hall requires a gathering of 27 people to enter, and must comprise 9 from the Dominion realm, 9 from the Divine Master realm, and 9 below the Divine Master realm. Such requirements match those bringing people of various realms to explore the 13th Chaos Zone. It's unclear if the Cosmic Emperors of Blue Gold City found this hall and specifically arranged 3 different realm people to venture in the 13th Chaos Zone, or if it was just a coincidence. Perhaps it's mostly coincidence. This hall looks like something that would entice even a cosmic emperor, not marked on any maps, suggesting that cosmic emperors of Blue Gold City hadn't discovered it.
Ye Chen ponderet internali.
How is it, young friend Yi Chun, excited? Seeing Yi Chun finish examining the ancient steel, Xuanchu Zi and Divine Master Yuan Feng began conversing with Yi Chun. The randomly listed treasures on the steel are already astonishing. It mentions an ancient mountain in the first layer of the hall. Entering this mountain could greatly enhance one's divine power, and possibly even break through one minor realm level directly. Many of us are already at the peak of the Dominion realm. Achieving a minor realm breakthrough, even if not a major one, could propel us directly into the Cosmic Emperor realm. Even young friend Yi Chun could advance from the Heavenly Divine Venerable directly to the Immortal Divine Venerable realm. A miraculous place where realms can be directly advanced is unheard of. Xuanchu Zi gazed hotly at the steel's record of the ancient mountain. He'd been stuck in the Greater Tribulation Dominion realm for ages, the Cosmic Emperor realm being a heavenly moat blocking his path, uncertain of ever breaking through in his lifetime. Now, the chaotic Heavenly Hall reportedly contains a place for direct realm breakthroughs, making Xuanchu Zi ardently enthusiastic despite the uncertainty. Let alone the realm-enhancing ancient mountain, Divine Master Yuan Feng was equally thrilled. There's also an ancient zither in the second layer of the hall. Allegedly, anyone with fate can play it, vastly enhancing their cultivation technique insights. Even those merely listening can greatly benefit. I've been stuck with several divine methods, unable to advance. If this zither helps me surpass the barriers, my combat power would massively increase. The ancient steel only lists a handful of the hall's treasures, yet everyone present was deeply shaken. After all, these were just a few treasures among countless more within the hall's first and second layers. According to the steel, the higher layers contain even more precious treasures, reaching up to the ninth heaven, igniting boundless anticipation. Chapter 1151. List. Xuanchu Zi and Yuan Feng looked at the introduction about the 9 heavens of the chaotic heavenly hall on the ancient steel, their eyes burning with desire. One of them was a master of the Greater Tribulation, the other a divine master of the 9 heavens. Both were extremely excited. Yi Chun, still a heavenly divine venerable, was naturally equally moved. This unknown territory, it seems I didn't come for nothing. Even if I just enter the chaotic heavenly hall and step onto the ancient mountain in the first layer of heaven, which can enhance my realm, allowing me to break through a small level and reach the immortal divine venerable realm, this journey into the unknown territory would absolutely be worth it. Yi Chun was filled with anticipation. Like Yi Chun, the other newcomers who arrived at the chaotic heavenly hall were equally excited after reading the inscriptions on the ancient steel, and were impatient to gain the qualification to enter the hall and explore it thoroughly. In such a situation, they grew increasingly worried about how many people the other 2 primordial God Mountain teams could gather for assistance. Just a few hours after the second group, where Yi Chun was, arrived beneath the divine hall, the third group finally appeared. This time, it was the return of Yu Shindu, ranked first among the 30 talented individuals below the Divine Master realm. Yu Shindu was startled to see a substantial gathering already in place. Then, he recognized familiar figures, including Yi Chun. Upon seeing Yi Chun, he was a bit surprised, but he quickly covered up this expression and greeted Yi Chun with a smile. Looking at the people Yu Shindu had brought, one could see he had brought 8 individuals, including 3 masters, 1 divine master, and 4 other top talents below the Divine Master realm from various universes. Including Yu Shindu, the number of people present reached 27. Among them were 7 masters, 9 divine masters, and 11 individuals below the Divine Master realm. Noticing this assembly, many people's eyes flickered. With one more team yet to arrive, the number of participants was already full, and even those below the Divine Master realm exceeded the requirements. This meant that some people, although invited, might not have the opportunity to enter the chaotic heavenly hall in the end. The people present were all extraordinarily smart, and they understood the situation at a glance, knowing there was no point in saying anything now. They could only wait for the final group to arrive and see what arrangements the captain from Primordial God Mountain would make. Everyone understood that, in the end, it would likely come down to abilities to earn the entry into the chaotic heavenly hall. This third group, like Yi-chan and the others, observed the inscriptions on the ancient steel, learned some things about the chaotic heavenly hall, and then sat down cross-legged, waiting for the fourth team. This waiting lasted 3 continuous days. Just as many were becoming a bit impatient, suddenly they saw a large group flying into the unknown territory, heading towards them. The captain is back. Seeing the figure at the forefront of the team, Situ-chan from Primordial God Mountain stood up excitedly, and Yushindu also smiled, standing up to greet Hua Tianjue. Yi-chan and the others also stood up one after another. Many people looked towards the people behind Hua Tianjue, eager to see how many he had brought. What they saw made many people's hearts sink. Hua Tianjue had brought 20 individuals, and with himself included, the total number increased by 21. The previous 3 teams had already gathered 27 people, and with these 21, the total number present reached 48, far exceeding the 27 needed for entering the chaotic heavenly hall. Looking closely at this fourth group, one could see that including Hua Tianjue, there were 6 new masters, 8 new divine masters, and 7 new top talents below the divine master realm. Yi-chan also noticed that his captain from the ancestral god temple, Overlord Yuan Qingzi, was among them. Even most from Linglong Divine Land, ranked second among the 36 major forces, were present, including Ning Xiaoxiao of the Sovereign Realm. At this moment, the fourth group, seeing over 20 people gathered in the unknown territory, was equally surprised. The leader, Hua Tianjue, flashed a bitter smile, and after the team settled, he cupped his fists toward everyone and said, "Originally, when our 4 from Primordial God Mountain went to gather reinforcements to enter the chaotic heavenly hall, we feared we wouldn't gather enough, so I specifically sought out more people. I didn't expect to gather so many friends here, with the number far exceeding chaotic heavenly hall's regulations. Certainly, some friends won't have the opportunity to enter the hall. Here, on behalf of the team from Primordial God Mountain, I apologize to everyone. If you're not selected, and it was a waste of your time, feel free to scold me." After Hua Tianjue's voice fell, the assembly began buzzing. Especially the teams arriving earlier were already worried that many gathered might be eliminated. Now hearing Hua Tianjue's words truly acknowledge this, many hearts tightened, fearing they might miss the opportunity to enter this peerless treasure land. Among the crowd, some, contemplating, spoke up after hearing Hua Tianjue. They said, "This treasure land was discovered by Hua and others. Being invited here is already an opportunity given to us by Hua. Regardless of the final outcome, I certainly won't blame Hua." Hua Tianjue, being the captain of the Primordial God Mountain team, likely held the final decision on who could enter the chaotic heavenly hall. Thus, the speaker was unwilling to offend him. Indeed, just being here, seeing the chaotic heavenly hall counts as a major gain. Whether we can enter the hall in the end doesn't matter. We certainly won't blame Hua. Others quickly reacted as well, calling out to Hua Tianjue. However, there were some among them who spoke to Hua Tianjue without any courtesy. In the team from Linglong Divine Land, ranked second among the 36 major factions, a female overlord directly spoke to Hua Tianjue. "Hua, there's no need for extra words. There are clearly too many people here. What are your thoughts on determining the final 27 candidates?" The words of this female overlord instantly quieted the noisy scene. Many people turned their attention to Hua Tianjue. Indeed, no matter what, deciding who can enter the chaotic heavenly hall is the most pressing issue. Hearing the female overlord, Hua Tianjue responded with a smile. "Hongjue, it was my mistake to not plan properly this time. I will carefully set the selection rules." After speaking, Hua Tianjue cupped his fists towards the female overlord, then gathered the few from Primordial God Mountain to one side to discuss in private. Seeing Hua Tianjue's demeanor, it seemed he was quite wary of this female overlord from Linglong Divine Land. This made many people cast a deep look at the female overlord. The female overlord Hongjue, however, paid no attention to the other's gaze. Seeing Hua Tianjue going to discuss, she too closed her eyes to rest among the Linglong Divine Lands team.
Oanju Zi, Ye Chen.
You're here too. While waiting for the final arrangements from the Primordial God Mountain team, many people gathered in small groups. At this moment, Yuan Qingzi also joined Yi Chun and others. Senior. Among the group present, Yi Chun was the most familiar with Yuan Qingzi. Seeing Yuan Qingzi arrive, Yi Chun also smiled. Initially, I was wondering where in the 13th Chaos Zone our team would be able to gather together. Unexpectedly, before we could act in unison, we were already brought to this unknown place by people from Primordial God Mountain. Yuan Qingzi shook his head with a smile, expressing to Yi Chun and others. Yes. Xuanchu Zi also nodded, saying with some concern, I wonder how Primordial God Mountain will decide the final 27 people. Hongjue and you, Yuan, are among the most renowned in Blue Gold City's sovereign realm, so there's no need to worry. Xuanchu Zi's words momentarily quieted the scene. No need to worry. Yuan Qingzi patted Xuanchu Zi on the shoulder, then looked at Yuan Feng and Yi Chun, saying, coming to this place is already a surprise. Whether we can eventually enter the temple depends on fate. Perhaps not entering might not be a bad thing after all, as inside, even if it's a treasure land, there must surely be countless dangers. Regardless of whether we enter or not, the few of us must always be careful in this 13th Chaos Zone. Yuan Qingzi's words made several members of the Ancestral God Temple team nod in agreement. As the different factions gathered to talk, it wasn't long before the few from Primordial God Mountain finished their discussion and walked back. Hua Tianjue even walked back towards the center of the crowd. Seeing this, everyone knew that the Primordial God Mountain team had come to a decision, and they immediately fell silent, turning their attention to Hua Tianjue. Hua Tianjue glanced at everyone in the scene, nodded with a smile towards Hongjue, Yuan Qingzi, and other powerful figures, then spoke, everyone knows. There are only 27 spots available for entering the chaotic Heavenly Hall. I won't say much. This opportunity and challenge require only 9 dominions, 9 divine masters, and 9 below the divine master realm. Currently, there are 13 dominions, 17 divine masters, and 18 below the divine master realm, so quite a few won't have the chance to enter the chaotic Heavenly Hall. We have already discussed and decided on the initial list of 27 entrants ourselves from Primordial God Mountain. Of course, since we invited everyone here, we will also give you a chance. If you believe you are more suitable for the final list, you can challenge the chosen ones for a spot. But remember, everyone only has one chance to challenge. Naturally, those of us from Primordial God Mountain, as the discoverers of the chaotic Heavenly Hall, do not accept challenges. Next, I will announce the list we have determined. Hua Tianjue's words left many people stunned. They did not expect that this time the list would be decided solely by Primordial God Mountain, as expected of the top-ranked major power so decisive. Even though they offered a single challenge opportunity for those not on the list, securing a spot through a challenge would not be simple at all, nowhere near as straightforward as being initially selected. As for Hua Tianjue's statement that no challenges would be accepted by those from Primordial God Mountain who discovered the site, no one disputed it. After all, it was indeed their discovery that granted everyone a chance to enter. I wonder if I'll be chosen. Choosing 27 out of 48 people, the odds aren't too low. Everyone held their breath and focused on Hua Tianjue. Without much hesitation, Hua Tianjue directly announced, 9 selected from the Sovereign Realm, Hua Tianjue of Primordial God Mountain, Situ Chan of Primordial God Mountain, Hongjue of Linglong Divine Land, Hongyu of Linglong Divine Land, Yuan Qingzi of Ancestral God Temple, 9 from the Divine Master Realm, Ao Ning of Primordial God Mountain, Zhao Wu of Primordial God Mountain, Zhou Feifei of Linglong Divine Land, 9 below the Divine Master Realm, Yu Shindu of Primordial God Mountain, Ning Xiaoxiao of Linglong Divine Land, Yi Chun of Ancestral God Temple. Chapter 1152. Struggle. Many people in the crowd knew each other, and even those who didn't were informed of each other's backgrounds through introductions. Whenever Hua Tianjue announced a name from the selection list, many gazes would immediately focus on the corresponding individual. Among the 9 overlords selected, Hua Tianjue and Situchan, the 2 overlords from the Primordial God Mountain team, were on the list. Naturally, no one had any objections to this. From the Linglong Divine Land, which ranked second among the 36 major forces, the 2 overlords Hongjue and Hongyu were also selected. Those familiar with their strength similarly did not dare provoke them. In the Ancestral God Temple team where Yi-chan was, only Yuan Qingzi was selected among the 2 overlords, leaving Xuanchu Zi unchosen. At this moment, Xuanchu Zi and other unselected overlords cast their gaze toward the few selected overlords. Clearly, they had not given up on the idea of entering the chaotic heavenly hall and were sizing up opponents they intended to challenge. Each overlord harbored their own thoughts. The selection of 9 divine masters also captured the attention of other divine masters. When the names of those below the divine master realm were read, the selection of individuals like Yu Xindu and Ning Xiaoxiao seemed expected. However, the inclusion of Yi Chun, a heavenly divine venerable, surprised many. For a moment, many of the unselected talents below the divine master realm focused their gaze on Yi Chun. Some had already decided to challenge Yi Chun and snatch the spot in the chaotic heavenly hall from him. Others were filled with curiosity, wondering what capabilities Yi Chun possessed to be placed on the list by the Primordial God Mountain. It was not just those below the Divine Master realm who were surprised by Yi Chen's selection. Many Divine Masters and even Overlords were equally surprised when they heard Yi Chen's name. In Yi Chen's team, 4 people were invited to this unknown place. Xuanchu Zi and Divine Master Yuan Feng, who hadn't been selected, felt uneasy about their lack of selection. But when Yi Chen's name was suddenly announced by Hua Tianjue, both were incredulous. Yi Chun was selected too? Of course, despite their shock, they outwardly congratulated Yi Chun, though they both knew that Yi Chun would surely face challenges, and whether he could truly secure a spot in the chaotic heavenly hall remained uncertain. Seeing the surprised expressions of Xuanchu Zi and Yuan Feng, hearing the congratulatory words of Yuan Qingzi, and noticing others evaluating him with their eyes, Yi Chen's expression remained calm. As someone already promised a spot in the chaotic heavenly hall by Situ Chun of the Primordial God Mountain, Yi Chun was not surprised by his selection. As for other people's challenges, having already decided to enter the chaotic heavenly hall, Yi Chun certainly would not fear other people's challenges. As everyone held their respective thoughts upon hearing the list, after announcing all 27 selected names, Hua Tianjue once again scanned the 48 people in the crowd. He said, "All right, the 27 who have been selected are the people I just announced. The others have not been selected for the time being. The rules for competing for the spots have been explained. Those who have not been selected have one chance to compete for a spot. Of course, the quota for the 3 groups of people is fixed. Overlords can only challenge overlords, and divine masters can only challenge divine masters. I hope everyone seizes this opportunity. Now, let's start with the overlord challenges." After Hua Tianjue's voice fell, all eyes in the field focused on the unselected overlords. A total of 13 overlords were invited to this place, with 9 selected, leaving only 4 unselected. As the challenges began, one of the 4 overlords immediately stood up to challenge a selected overlord. These overlords came from the major forces of Blue Gold City and knew quite a bit about each other. The battles at the overlord level were, of course, extremely intense. Yi Chun and other divine masters, as well as the talents below the divine master realm, watched intently from the side. Their fighting styles and some special divine arts also played a significant role in gaining insights and understanding for the spectators. However, it was evident that the selection by the Primordial God Mountain adhered to strength criteria, as the first overlord to challenge ultimately failed to succeed. Thereafter, the remaining 3 overlords all used their only chance to challenge. Except for one overlord who succeeded in their challenge, the remaining 2 failed. The other overlord in Yi Chen's team, Xuanchu Zi from the Ancestral God Temple, was among the defeated. After failing, Xuanchu Zi's expression was incredibly grim. Clearly, he found it hard to accept losing the final quota to enter the chaotic heavenly hall. Once the 9 overlords were definitively decided, the same would be done for the 9 divine masters. 17 divine masters were present in the field, with 9 selected, leaving a whopping 8 unselected divine masters. Their challenge rounds were far more numerous than those of the overlords. Ultimately, Yi Chen's other teammate, Divine Master Yuan Feng, succeeded in his challenge, securing a quota. Additionally, another Divine Master also succeeded in their challenge. Besides that, the rest of the Divine Masters failed their challenges. After the 9 Divine Master slots were also confirmed, the only ones left without confirmed entry into the chaotic Heavenly Hall were the talents below the Divine Master realm. All eyes turned to Yi Chen and the others at this moment. It should be noted that, fearing there wouldn't be enough people, the primordial God Mountain had invited the most talents below the Divine Master realm to this unknown place, a total of 18. Only 9 people were needed to enter the chaotic Heavenly Hall, which meant 9 people had not been selected. Not like the Divine Masters and Overlords who have been honing their skills in Blue Gold City for a long time, these figures are quite familiar with each other. Yi Chen and the others below the Divine Master realm are all new geniuses from various universes who recently arrived in Blue Gold City. They are not familiar with each other at all, and haven't even sparred. Thus, their competition now is filled with uncertainty. Among the 18 geniuses below the Divine Master realm on the field, aside from Yi Chen being a Heavenly Divine Venerable, the rest are either in the Sovereign Realm or Immortal Divine Venerable Realm. After all, to be invited to unknown lands, it's hard for a genius with a low realm to catch the attention of Primordial God Mountain. When the battle for quota among the geniuses below the Divine Master realm began, the first to step forward was an Immortal Divine Venerable. As soon as this Immortal Divine Venerable stepped forward, he directly looked at Yi Chen and said, "I want to challenge the entrant Yi Chen. The others chosen are all sovereigns. Only Yi Chen is a Heavenly Divine Venerable." Even though some might speculate that Yi Chen must have some hidden cards to be chosen by Primordial God Mountain, the other chosen sovereigns are also likely to have powerful cards up their sleeves. Therefore, relatively speaking, challenging Yi Chen might have a higher chance of winning. Naturally, this challenger chose to challenge Yi Chen first. As they saw Yi Chen being picked out for a challenge, all eyes in the arena focused on him. The Overlords, Divine Masters, and the selected talents below the Divine Master realm all wanted to see what capabilities Yi Chen had to make it onto the list of Primordial God Mountain. Those not selected also wanted to use this challenge to gauge Yi Chen's true strength to determine whether to challenge him later. With countless eyes watching him, Yi Chen, upon hearing he was being challenged, shook his head with a smile and walked into the battle arena. Yi Chen's calm demeanor invigorated quite a few people. This genius named Yi Chen seems quite confident, someone thought to themselves. Yu Shindu of Primordial God Mountain also paid attention to Yi Chen. When discussing the list of 27 people, Situ Chen, an overlord in his team, said Yi Chen had a powerful treasure and strongly urged for his inclusion. Yu Shindu was also curious about what kind of treasure Yi Chen had that made Situ Chen value it so much. In the battle scene, the Immortal Divine Venerable, upon seeing Yi Chen's calm appearance, felt a bit uneasy. Unfamiliar with Yi Chen and saying no more, he directly activated his divine power, attacking Yi Chen. This Immortal Divine Venerable was already a super genius in his universe just by entering the Primal Beginning universe. He had also secured the 5th position in the Battle of the God Kings in his universe's Stellar Domain Genius Battle. Even though he was merely an Immortal Divine Venerable, his true combat power surpassed many ordinary 7-star and 8-star sovereigns across countless universes. What this genius did not expect was that when he attacked Yi Chen merely formed a spell with his hands, causing a treasure to fly out from him. This treasure happened to be 7 copper coins. As soon as the 7 copper coins appeared, they directly shattered the entire attacking divine power of the Immortal Divine Venerable Genius and restrained him at an unimaginable speed. In an instant, this Immortal Divine Venerable Genius was smashed to the ground. If it were a life and death battle, the 7 copper coins would have certainly killed this Immortal Divine Venerable Genius instantaneously. This genius was utterly powerless in Yi Chen's hands. Under the tightening grip of the 7 copper coins, this genius hurriedly admitted defeat, and pleaded with Yi Chun to release him and set him free. The tight grip of the 7 copper coins exerted a terrifying killing force outside him, threatening to kill him at any moment, a feeling not at all pleasant. After the genius admitted defeat, only then did Yi Chun smile and retrieve the 7 copper coins. In this challenge, Yi Chun won effortlessly. What kind of treasure is this? It seems to have overlord-level killing force. As they saw the treasure Yi Chun wielded, the other overlords and divine masters were utterly astonished. They knew that the treasures that could be used in the primal beginning universe were unique to or specially refined within that universe. This batch of geniuses, including Yi Chun, had been in Blue Gold City for less than a year, and Yi Chun's possession of such a treasure naturally shocked these overlords and divine masters. Could it be that this treasure is something Yi Chun acquired recently outside the 13th Chaos Zone? With such a treasure, no wonder he was included in the list of Primordial God Mountain. These overlords and divine masters were greatly surprised. The other talents below the Divine Master realm were equally shocked, especially those who were contemplating challenging Yi Chun. Upon witnessing such killing force from Yi Chun's treasure, they dared not challenge him any longer. Clearly, Yi Chun possessing such a treasure already absolutely has the strength to secure one of the 9 quotas below the Divine Master realm. Those who weren't chosen were not the strongest geniuses and didn't have anything beyond the Overlord level in their arsenal. They didn't even have life-saving scrolls reaching Overlord level. In an instant, everyone shifted their targets from Yi Chun to challenging the other selected talents. In the crowd, Yu Shindu, upon seeing the treasure Yi Chun drove, chuckled internally. So that's the treasure. It seems impressive. However, relying solely on the divine might of the treasure, even if selected, his actual strength is still far below ours, so there's no need to pay excessive attention. Ning Xiaoxiao from Linglong Divine Land also focused on the treasure in Yi Chun's hand, paying little heed to Yi Chun himself. Seeing countless eyes drawn to the 7 copper coins in his hand, Yi Chun inwardly sneered. My treasure has already been seen by Situ-chan of Primordial God Mountain, so the troop of Primordial God Mountain is likely already aware of it. Since this is the case, exposing this treasure is harmless. It's better to conceal my true strength and other treasure techniques. The 27 people who will break into chaotic heavenly hall come from different forces and universes. We must handle it with extreme caution when seeking treasures inside together. Chapter 1153. Myriad Treasures Grotto. As Yi Chun forcefully demonstrated his strength, none of the talents below the Divine Master realm dared to challenge Yi Chun again. The other few people began to challenge other candidates. A moment later, the 9 spots below the Divine Master realm were finally confirmed. Surprisingly, this time, unlike the Masters having 1 successful challenge and the Divine Masters having 2 successful challenges, all 9 challengers below the Divine Master realm failed their challenges. The final 9 candidates below the Divine Master realm who could enter the chaotic heavenly hall turned out to be exactly the same as the 9 names initially decided by the Primordial God Mountain. It seemed that the few recruited by Primordial God Mountain had put in some effort researching the talents below the Divine Master realm, and the strongest 9 were selected from the beginning. With the confirmation of this last batch of 9, all 27 were also finally confirmed. Hua Tianjue stood out once again. Looking towards the unselected personnel, he spoke aloud. Fellow Taoists, I am very sorry. This time the opportunity to enter the chaotic heavenly hall is not meant for you. I kindly ask you to exit this unknown land. A total of 21 people were unselected. Upon hearing Hua Tianjue's words, these 21 people understood that there was no point in staying in this land by force, and Hua Tianjue wouldn't let them remain to cause interference. The leading masters among them clasped their fists toward Hua Tianjue, exchanged a few polite words, and then left first. The other divine masters and talents below the Divine Master realm could only follow those masters and also left the area. In this unknown land, there was only the chaotic heavenly hall, and only 27 people could enter. These unselected ones also knew that instead of envying those who were admitted, it was better to seize the time to go to the 13th Chaos Zone outside and continue their adventure. Perhaps they could gain more there. In a short while, all the unselected had left. In the field, Only the 27 who were confirmed to enter the chaotic heavenly hall remained. Fellow Taoists. This time, when Hua Tianjue cast his gaze on the people present, his expression became serious. You've all read the introduction on the ancient stele about the chaotic heavenly hall. To enter the chaotic heavenly hall, only we 27 can exert joint effort, attacking the unnamed killing force beneath the 27 light circles. Only by accumulating sufficient combat power can we enter the chaotic heavenly hall together. We are the strongest 27 people of the 3 levels that can be found. I ask all of you, fellow Taoists, to put all your effort into attacking the unnamed killing force in your respective light circles, striving for us to enter the chaotic heavenly hall in one go. What Hua Tianjue spoke of was indeed the method of entering the chaotic heavenly hall using the light circles. Yi Chun and others had all seen this rule on the ancient stele. Upon hearing Hua Tianjue's words, they all nodded. This endeavor to enter the chaotic heavenly hall was an opportunity for everyone, and surely everyone would make an effort to get inside. After further instructions from Hua Tianjue, who was the captain of the primordial God Mountain team as well as the most powerful among the 27, the 27 people sat cross-legged in the 27 light circles beneath the chaotic heavenly hall, according to the levels of Master, Divine Master, and below the Divine Master realm. The 27 light circles were arranged in 3 concentric circles from inside to outside. 9 masters sat cross-legged in the innermost 9 light circles. The 9 divine masters then sat in the middle 9 light circles. Yi Chun and the 8 others below the Divine Master realm, following the ancient stele's indication, had the lowest realm and directly sat in the 9 outermost light circles. Yi Chun casually picked a light circle and entered it. Once seated, Yi Chun felt waves of disturbance within the light circle and could even feel the actions of everyone else in the other 26 light circles. Once everyone was seated properly, according to the method inscribed on the ancient stele, they all began driving their forces, and a shocking event occurred. In an instant, Yi Chun felt the unnamed killing force surging from around the light circle, directly coming at him. This was the killing force they must face to enter the chaotic heavenly hall. Only the combined combat power of the 27, surpassing the killing force requirement, could allow everyone to enter the chaotic heavenly hall together. At the moment he sensed the killing force, Yi Chen's body instantly released boundless divine light. With a grasp of his large hand, the combat power of stellar terrestrial spin directly enhanced the heavenly sword divine art and other major techniques. Boom! Instantly, a brilliant pillar of light shot up from the light circle where Yi Chun was located. As Yi Chen's combat power increased, the brilliant divine light also rose higher and higher. Not just Yi Chun. As Yi Chun initiated his combat power to attack the unnamed killing force within the light circle, Hua Tianjue, Situ Chan, Hongjue, Hongyu, Yuan Qingzi, and other major masters, the divine masters such as Yuan Feng, and even figures below the divine master realm such as Yu Shindu and Ning Xiaoxiao, all unleashed their combat power mightily. Boom! 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 Instantly, a brilliant pillar of light rose up from each person's respective light circle. A total of 27 pillars of light burst into the sky in 3 circles, all surging towards the chaotic heavenly hall at the top. This impact, as everyone's combat power continuously surged, led to a continuous change in the color of all the light pillars. Starting from white initially, they gradually turned blue. Finally, when all 27 beams of light turned purple simultaneously, everyone within the 27 light circles felt a dreadful suction force emanating from the circles. In an instant, everyone felt an unimaginably powerful force swallow them. In a flash, Yi Chun and everyone else disappeared from the circles. The next moment, when Yi Chen's divine sense returned to clarity, he found himself and the other 26 people already outside a giant mountain. This giant mountain stretched endlessly, as if this world was occupied by this mountain. The first layer of heaven. We've entered the first layer of the chaotic heavenly hall. Upon seeing the giant mountain before them, everyone showed expressions of surprise and joy, even though they knew that gathering 27 people would make opening the chaotic heavenly hall not too difficult. Truly entering this divine hall space still excited everyone. After all, This was the peerless treasure land described on the ancient stele, filled with endless mysterious secret treasures. Look quickly. There's writing at the entrance of the giant mountain. An overlord saw a massive entrance at the foot of the giant mountain ahead, with some text seemingly written on the mountain wall beside it, and immediately called the others to move towards the entrance. Yichen followed the group to the mountain's entrance and found the text read, "The first layer of the chaotic heavenly hall is the myriad treasures grotto space. Within this space, there are countless paths, some interconnecting, some dead ends. Also, in this space, there are many ancient teleportation formations. Only by finding these ancient teleportation formations can one use them to enter the second layer of the chaotic heavenly hall. Within the myriad treasures grotto, there are also countless dangers." After reading through this text, the expressions of the 27 people became serious. According to this description, in the myriad treasures grotto, there are countless paths. Even though there are many ancient teleportation formations, finding one among the myriad paths is indeed challenging. Even more terrifying are the innumerable crises within. If one were to reach a dead end and encounter lethal danger, it would be a major catastrophe. However, to find treasures here and enter the second layer of the chaotic heavenly hall, one must brave these paths. According to the explanation above, within the myriad treasures grotto, our divine sense will be affected and confined within a range of several dozen feet. At that time, it's purely down to luck which path to choose, as it can't be explored in advance. Fellow Taoists, since we are here, we should not pass by a treasure mountain. Everyone, be careful. Let's set off first. After Hua Tianjue spoke to the others, he directly led a few people from the Primordial God Mountain team into the mountain entrance. Seeing this, the others no longer hesitated and began to move in groups of 2 or 3. Several women from the Linglong Divine Land followed Hua Tianjue and the others into the Myriad Treasures Grotto, unwilling for their teams to lag behind. They too entered the Myriad Treasures Grotto. Yuan Qingzi nodded to Yichun and Yuan Feng, and the 3 of them followed the crowd into the giant mountain. Upon entering the giant mountain, just as the text on the outer stone wall indicated, there were countless paths inside. Initially, there was only one path, but after walking for a while, it split into several forks. Choosing one fork to walk on for a while, there were yet more forks. Given this endless web of forked paths, who knows how many routes lie within the Myriad Treasures Grotto? Moreover, upon entering, Yichun discovered, as stated on the outer stone wall, his divine sense was indeed confined to a radius of several dozen feet and could not extend far. It wasn't just Yichun. Even Yuan Feng, the divine master and overlord Yuan Qingzi, though their realms were much higher than Yichen's, had their divine sense range similarly limited, not extending further despite their higher realms. In this situation, it seemed the 27 people of the 3 levels had similar divine sense exploration capabilities. After passing a few forks, with no sight of the other teams, Yuan Qingzi said to Yichun and Yuan Feng, "If we move together, it will be hard to allocate treasures, so let's operate separately. There are so many paths here. We must seize this time to search." Yichen and Yuan Feng had already considered separating, and hearing Yuan Qingzi's words, they of course had no objections. At the next junction, the 3 of them split up. Yichun entered a brown soil passageway. After walking a short distance, Yichun did not continue further but sat down immediately. Since there was no danger yet and no treasure encountered, this indicated he hadn't truly entered the Myriad Treasures Grotto's inner space. Before truly facing danger, Yichun naturally wanted to prepare thoroughly. Though short-term improvement of other methods wasn't possible, Yichun had one technique that he must enhance here. The technique, of course, was the Taiyu chapter of the Primordial Star Scripture. Having arrived at this new space, Yichun surely had to imprint the space star aperture here to see if it could help him understand more secrets of the chaotic heavenly hall. Chapter 1154, Spatial Rift. As Yichun meticulously comprehended the space star aperture inside the chaotic heavenly hall, his spirit was invigorated. This place was surprisingly stranger than the outside 13th Chaos Zone. In the outside 13th Chaos Zone, Yichun perceived the space star aperture to enhance his origin star aperture, discovering that the space star apertures in different regions were different and not a whole. In every area, the space star aperture could be comprehended separately. However, inside this chaotic heavenly hall's 9 heavens, each layer was also different. In this first layer of heaven, Yi-Chun could only perceive the space star aperture of this location, unable to perceive those of the upper layers, obviously indicating that the space star apertures of each heaven were completely different. What's more peculiar is that in other regions, even in the stellar terrestrial spin, Yi-Chun could largely comprehend the space structure of the stellar terrestrial spin through perceiving the space star aperture. But inside the chaotic heavenly hall, even though Yi-Chun perceived the space star aperture of the first layer of heaven, he couldn't fathom the specific structure within the myriad treasures grotto of the first layer of heaven at all. It seemed that every grotto structure here was shrouded with powerful divine power, completely preventing any prior comprehension. This discovery made Yi-Chun's mind and spirit surge with excitement. The more special the space here, the more extraordinary this area was, and the more extraordinary the area, the stronger the origin star aperture printed within Yi-Chun's body from comprehending the space star aperture would be, greatly assisting his comprehension of the primordial star scripture's Tai Yu chapter. Evidently, this chaotic heavenly hall was a more magical place than the 13th chaos zone and the region of stellar terrestrial spin. This certainly made Yi-Chun extremely excited. This time, Yi-Chun sat cross-legged within the myriad treasures grotto, perceiving the space star aperture for more than 7 days. As the 8th day was approaching, the seated Yi-Chun suddenly had strange rays of light start to flicker on his body. Amidst the flickering of these strange rays, the origin star apertures cultivated from the Tai Yu chapter hidden within Yi-Chun began mysteriously emerging one by one in his body. These countless origin star apertures were formed by Yi-Chun after entering the 6th chapter of the primordial star scripture, the Tai Yu chapter, by comprehending the space star apertures of numerous regions. There were origin star apertures from the Wanmu Mountain Divine Nation's Supreme Divine Institute, the capital, and countless regions, as well as those comprehended from the stellar terrestrial spin, from Blue Gold City, from the outer and central regions of the 13th Chaos Zone, from the unknown place housing the chaotic heavenly hall, and from the myriad treasures grotto within the first layer of heaven that Yi-Chun had just comprehended. Countless origin star apertures began surging and emerging, unlike any situation during Yi-Chun's previous comprehension of origin star apertures. Evidently, a major change was occurring this time. After countless origin star apertures emerged one by one in the mysterious space within Yi-Chun's body, these origin star apertures began merging together. Each seemed to still exist independently, yet also seemed to have all merged into one. Finally, they evolved into a gigantic origin star aperture, resembling drops of divine beads assembled together. Boom! The moment countless origin star apertures formed into one huge origin star aperture. A mysterious technique also entered Yi-Chun's mind. In an instant, Yi-Chun's expression became clear, understanding why such a great change had occurred within him. The first extreme. The accumulation of my origin star apertures from the Tai Yu chapter of the primordial star scripture has successfully transformed from quantitative change to qualitative change, completing the first extreme cultivation stage. A great joy spread across Yi-Chun's face. Since he began cultivating the Tai Yu chapter of the primordial star scripture, Yi-Chun knew that comprehending space star apertures to imprint origin star apertures in the Tai Yu chapter involved a continuous accumulation process. Furthermore, this accumulation had to be done step by step, extreme by extreme. Only by accumulating to the 8th extreme level could the final 7th chapter of the primordial star scripture be started. Yi-Chun had continually cultivated the 6th chapter, the Tai Yu chapter, waiting for the initial completion of the first extreme cultivation. After all, completing the first extreme would give Yi-Chun more confidence in the Tai Yu chapter, indicating that the subsequent extremes did indeed hold hope of completion. Previously, though he accumulated so many origin star apertures, he hadn't managed to complete the first extreme cultivation, which always worried Yi-Chun about the excessive time the first extreme might consume. Now, finally completing the first extreme cultivation inside the myriad treasures grotto on the first layer of heaven in the chaotic heavenly hall naturally filled Yi-Chun with immense joy. This signified that Yi-Chun had completed the first step of the Tai Yu chapter. This represented another step closer to the final chapter of the primordial star scripture. Completion of the first extreme does not only make my origin star apertures much stronger, but also revealed a hidden technique of the Taiyu chapter. Previously, when using the power of the Taiyu chapter, Yi-Chen could only utilize the power of the origin star apertures. Though the power of the origin star apertures was stronger than that of the first 5 chapters, Yi-Chen always felt something was missing. After all, among the first 5 chapters of the primordial star scripture, whether the primordial chapter or the Taiyu chapter, besides its own power, there were hidden techniques like the 5 great divine arts and great change of Taiyu. For the more powerful 6th chapter, Yi-Chen always wondered if there were any hidden techniques. Now, after completing the first extreme cultivation, Yi-Chen finally realized that the 6th chapter, the Taiyu chapter, also had hidden techniques. After completing the first extreme, the hidden technique of the Taiyu chapter is called spatial rift. Yi-Chen meticulously comprehended the cultivation method of this technique in his mind. It seemed because Yi-Chen was the master of the primordial star scripture and had successfully completed the first extreme cultivation, the comprehension of the first extreme's technique spatial rift was remarkably easy. Yi-Chen spent only half an hour to successfully cultivate this technique. The cultivation time was short, but the power of this technique was by no means weak, being stronger than any of Yi-Chen's current techniques. After completing the cultivation, Yi-Chen stood up from the corridor of the grotto. Swish! He pointed his big hand at a certain place in the void, and suddenly, a spatial rift appeared in that area, resembling lightning. The spatial rift holds a powerful slicing force. A protruding rock from that realm was directly swallowed and sliced by the spatial rift, disappearing instantly from its location. After testing the spatial rift, Yi-Chen was shocked in his heart. This spatial rift connects to a realm different from the primal beginning universe. In that realm, everything within the primal beginning universe will be crushed into nothingness upon entering. This means that anything that can be sliced and swallowed by the spatial rift can be killed. With the current intensity of the spatial rift I wield, I fear slicing weaker divine master-level characters shouldn't be a problem. Bear in mind, Yi-Chen did not use any combat power boost from the stellar terrestrial spin. It's purely the inherent power of the spatial rift. It's simply too terrifying. If the combat power boost from the stellar terrestrial spin was used, the combat force would be even more terrifying. Moreover, as Yi-Chen's origin star aperture continues to improve, the killing force of the spatial rift will also continuously increase. This is equally a growing powerful technique. Of course, this technique also has limitations. Currently, Yi-Chen's origin star aperture power only allows him to drive the spatial rift a dozen times before needing rest and recovery. It's impossible to drive it endlessly. However, even if it can't be driven endlessly, this devouring and slicing technique undoubtedly provides Yi-Chen with yet another terrifying means. After carefully contemplating his various changes post the completion of the first extreme in the Taiyu chapter and the spatial rift technique, Yi-Chen again looked towards the passage ahead. This time of cultivation cost me considerable time. I fear someone has already made significant discoveries within the first layer of heaven in the chaotic heavenly hall, perhaps even discovered the ancient teleportation formation leading to the second layer of heaven. It's about time to seize the opportunity and search thoroughly within the first layer. Though the cultivation of the Taiyu chapter couldn't allow me to explore the specific spatial structure of the Myriad Treasures Grotto, it wasn't without unexpected gains. Upon completing the first extreme cultivation, my divine sense exploration of this place has widened manifold. Previously, whether it be a powerful master or a genius below the divine master realm, upon entering the Myriad Treasures Grotto, their divine sense would be confined to a few dozen feet, only able to probe within such a radius. But after Yi-Chen completed the first extreme in the Taiyu chapter, he discovered that although the divine sense was restricted within the Myriad Treasures Grotto, this binding force was significantly broken by him, enlarging his exploring range from a few dozen feet to several hundred feet. This means solely on divine sense probing range within the Myriad Treasures Grotto, Yi-Chen is even stronger than Hua Tianjue. The strengthening of divine sense range naturally accelerated Yi-Chen's exploration speed within the Myriad Treasures Grotto. Even though Yi-Chen spent 7 to 8 days in cultivation, once he moved, his travel speed within the grotto increased significantly. within a passage unknown to have twisted through how many junctions in the Myriad Treasures grotto. A divine master was staring at an ice crystal pathway before him, his mind and spirit trembling. Earlier, he passed through countless passages, fortunately obtained 3 or 4 treasures. Yet now he was regretting every ounce. Right in front of him, within a snow and ice-covered pathway, a gigantic ice crystal spider was coiled within the passage, looking at the divine master with hostility. Moreover, the passage behind him was unexpectedly sealed tight without knowing when. The divine master had unwittingly stepped into a fearsome absolute death zone. Simply sensing the ice crystal spider ahead, the divine master knew he was utterly powerless against it. At this moment, he regretted not choosing to enter with the ancient teleportation formation into the second layer of heaven when he discovered it earlier, instead choosing to remember its location and continue searching for more treasures within the first layer. Now, driven by greed, he found himself facing a life-threatening crisis. As the divine master's mind and spirit trembled, the ice crystal spider ahead moved. The ice crystal spider sprayed a mouthful. Instantly, countless threads like icy webs shot directly towards the divine master. The divine master had long anticipated the ice crystal spider's attack. Upon seeing the icy threads shoot towards him, he activated his strongest defense, which was the extreme spirit fire shield, to directly resist. Yet, an unexpected event occurred. The extreme spirit fire shield was instantly frozen upon contact with the webs and subsequently began to crack under the freezing force, finally shattering with a bang into numerous pieces, falling to the ground. Seeing his strongest defense shattered instantly, the divine master was terrified. He wanted to deploy other defensive means, but it was too late. Several additional threads had already wrapped towards him in that moment. Unable to dodge, the divine master was instantly ice-sealed upon contact with the webs. Then, the ice crystal spider pulled sharply, dragging the ice-sealed divine master directly in front of it. The ice crystal spider opened its mouth, from which a terrifying black gas stream was released, aiming to swallow the ice-sealed divine master. Instantly, the ice-sealed divine master was melted by the black gas stream and absorbed into the ice crystal spider's belly. After devouring the divine master, the ice crystal spider seemed satisfied, gently shaking its body. Meanwhile, the previously closed passage behind the divine master reopened. Chapter 1155, Stone Pool. North of the Myriad Treasures Grotto. Passing through a passage, Yushindu walked directly into a verdant space. Looking at the numerous green plants in this space, Yushindu seemed to detect something amiss, carefully sensing his surroundings. Suddenly, with a pinch of his fingers, Yushindu conjured a spell, and a black shield immediately flew up, blocking his front. Almost at the same time, a mass of green liquid shot toward Yushindu. This mass of green liquid was directly blocked by the black shield, adhering to its surface. Sizzles. The green liquid had an extremely strong corrosive property, and even the heaven-grade shield crafted from precious divine material in Yushindu's possession began to slowly melt under its corrosion. Seeing this, Yushindu raised an eyebrow. At this moment, from the green plants, jumped out small green insects akin to praying mantises. These small green insects were only the size of a palm but emitted an incredible demonic light. Pop, pop, pop. The green liquid that previously shot toward Yushindu was actually spat out by these green insects. This time, with the appearance of the swarm, they acted in unison, and instantly, dozens of masses of green liquid shot at Yushindu from every direction. However, in the face of this anomaly, Yushindu's expression did not change dramatically. He snorted coldly, and a mass of black flames appeared in his hand. The black flames burned fiercely, and the black firelight emitted caused the entire space's temperature to soar. The green insects on the green plants sensed the power of the black flames and seemed to feel threatened, chirping in panic, and in the next moment, they disappeared from the plants. On closer inspection, it was impossible to determine where they were hiding. Trying to hide? Yushindu remained unmoved. His cold eyes scanned the countless plants in the space, and then, with a movement of the black flames in his hand, it transformed into a giant black python, lunging toward the many plants. Boom! Countless green plants in this space were immediately ignited, blazing into flames. Amidst the crackling firelight, only the tragic screeches of the green plants could be heard. But then it was discovered that all the green plants transformed into green insects, rolling and jumping in the flames. The green plants in this space were actually transformed entirely from those green insects. The struggling insects also pounced toward Yu Shindu, seemingly wanting to drag him into the sea of fire together. Driving the black flames, Yu Shindu would certainly not allow these green insects to succeed. He snorted coldly, emitting unmatched divine light from his body, and even as the burning insects leapt toward him, they couldn't approach him in the slightest. The swarm could only issue tragic shrieks and be burned to ashes amidst the roaring flames. After the entire space was burned empty, Yu Shindu explored every corner but found nothing. So he sighed and shook his head. Unexpectedly, it's another killing field without any treasure. After saying this, Yu Shindu turned and left the area, continuing to advance through the passage. West of the Myriad Treasures Grotto, in front of an ancient teleportation formation in the Linglong Divine Land, Overlord Hongjue's icy face showed a rare smile. The first layer of heaven in the chaotic heavenly hall, the Myriad Treasures Grotto, the treasures inside are the least valuable in the chaotic heavenly hall. The ancient steel outside records that the first layer of heaven has an ancient mountain that can elevate one's realm by a small layer. I've searched for a long time and found nothing. I'm afraid such a treasure land is not so easily found. Rather than wasting time here, I might as well venture to the upper layers sooner. After a flash of divine light in her eyes, Overlord Hongjue stepped into the ancient teleportation formation. Amidst the flashing divine light, she vanished from within the Myriad Treasures Grotto. There's actually a sword diagram in this space. Yuan Qingzi, looking at a diagram on the wall of a space beside the passage he was in, revealed an expression of immense joy. This sword diagram seems even more profound than the heavenly sword divine art. The entire sword diagram flickered with spiritual light, and upon careful examination, it seemed a small figure was wielding a divine sword, executing a nameless swordsmanship. However, the small figure's movements were so fast that even with Yuan Qingzi's Greater Tribulation Dominion realm, it was hard to fully memorize its actions. Yuan Qingzi could only focus all his mind and spirit, meticulously capturing every movement of the small figure. He dared not lose concentration for even a moment. Along with Hua Tianjue, Situ Chun, Divine Master Yuan Feng, and others, everyone in the Myriad Treasures Grotto's numerous passages was facing different circumstances. Some encountered life and death peril. Some discovered precious treasures. Some, thanks to the ancient teleportation formation, have already stepped into the higher 9 heavens of the chaotic heavenly hall. At this moment, Yi Chun was still progressing through the passage. When Yi Chun stepped into a pitch-black passage resembling ink, he came to a sudden stop. Instantly, Yi Chun pointed his finger. A spatial rift formed directly within the pitch-black passage ahead. At the moment the spatial rift formed, a giant bat, about 10 feet long, revealed its true form at the rift but was devoured without even having a chance to screech, crushed into nothingness by the alternate space. Seeing this, Yi Chun waved his hand to collect the spatial rift and continued to advance forward. After progressing approximately several thousand feet further down the dark corridor, Yi Chun suddenly sensed something and stepped to the side. By the side of the passage, a pitch-black special space had appeared. As Yi Chun stepped into this dark space, an unexpected event occurred. Inside this special space, tiny points of light slowly lit up. Gradually, countless firefly-like lights filled the space, illuminating it brightly. Looking towards these lights, one could see they were emitted by small, mysterious insects resembling fireflies. However, unlike ordinary fireflies that only emit light, these luminous, mysterious insects shed layers of glowing powder as they flitted about. The powder was crystal clear, seemingly a strange material. Sensing the powder, Yi Chen's eyes brightened. Even though he didn't know the exact use of the powder, the divine light emanating from it suggested they were extraordinary. Yi Chun waved his hand to absorb the powder on the ground, drawing it all towards him. Eventually, a handful of the powder formed in his palm. Seeing Yi Chun collect the powder, the mysterious insects chirped crisply, as if quite pleased, even fluttering around him. After fluttering for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the mysterious insects extinguished their glow and slowly settled on the stone wall of the space. Yi Chun realized that the opportunity within this space had likely come to an end. He glanced at the luminous powder that still glowed in his hand, smiled, and then stowed it away before exiting the space. Next, Yi Chun continued to move through the passage. However, whether due to bad luck or not, he did not encounter any more treasures. In fact, he faced numerous dangers. Most of these dangers were resolved by Yi Chun using his newly practiced method of spatial rift. This allowed Yi Chun to master the technique of spatial rift more skillfully. Some dangers, however, could not even be handled by spatial rift. The most dangerous encounter was when Yi Chun stepped into a special space off the side of the passage, thinking it to be a treasure land. Instead, the space suddenly collapsed, revealing a massive pit. Inside the pit were buried numerous skeletal remains. These remains sensed Yi Chun's life force and came to life, transforming into corpse fiend-like demons. More terrifying was that these demons were immensely powerful and coordinated, forming a fearsome killing formation, trapping Yi Chun within. Even though Yi Chun deployed 7 copper coin ancient treasures, he couldn't annihilate the corpse fiends. Finally, Yi Chun had to use another ancient treasure, the broken blade he had obtained from the Cosmic Emperor, slain amidst the Chaos Ghost Mist, among the 3 ancient Chaos treasures. Only then did he manage to slaughter all the corpse fiends. The killing force of this second ancient Chaos treasure was so astounding to Yi Chun. Although the blade was broken, it was imbued with a strange ancient fire, immensely more powerful than Yi Chun's heavenly forbidden flame. As the blade spun and flew out, it pierced through all the corpse fiends, igniting them with the ancient fire it carried. In the end, all the corpse fiends were completely killed by the blade, without any chance to fight back. The formation surrounding Yi Chun was also thus destroyed. Yi Chun finally escaped from that space. After leaving that lethal space, he traveled for another half-day, resolving numerous crises before Yi Chun finally sensed the aura of another treasure again. This aura emanated from a place several hundred feet ahead. Yi Chun's divine sense reached out to explore that area. But to Yi Chun's surprise, the space was open, and there was already someone inside. That person was someone Yi Chun knew, none other than Ning Xiaoxiao, a talented girl under the Divine Master Realm from the Linglong Divine Land Team. At this moment, Yi Chun, utilizing the extended divine sense range from successfully cultivating the first extreme of the Taiyu chapter, could sense Ning Xiaoxiao, while Ning Xiaoxiao, whose sense was restricted to a dozen's feet range, couldn't detect Yi Chun. The girl was in the center of the space ahead, gazing at something within a giant stone pool. That stone pool seemed to be shrouded by an unknown divine power, preventing Yi Chun from probing it with his divine sense in advance. After pondering for a moment, Yi Chun decisively continued onward. After advancing several hundred feet, he finally saw the space adjacent to the passage ahead. At this time, Ning Xiaoxiao also sensed someone approaching. She turned back, slightly surprised to see Yi Chun. However, she didn't seem to want to claim the treasure land for herself. Upon seeing Yi Chun, she smiled and said, "Fellow Taoist Yi Chun, I didn't expect among so many passages we would meet here." "Fellow Taoist Ning Xiaoxiao, what's in there?" Seeing her courteous demeanor, Yi Chun smiled as well, walking forward. "Come and see for yourself," Ning Xiaoxiao replied playfully. Ning Xiaoxiao's words piqued Yi Chun's curiosity even more. He quickly walked to the edge of the stone pool, following Ning Xiaoxiao's gaze into it, letting out a small exclamation. Chapter 1156. Maze and Giant Mountain. Looking into the stone pool, one can vaguely see a miniature mountain hidden amidst a mist. As Yi Chun gazed at the stone pool and the mountain, his mind and spirit stirred. This is... Yi Chun recalled the ancient stele outside the chaotic heavenly hall mentioning a miraculous treasure within the first layer of heaven. a giant mountain that greatly enhances one's realm upon entering. In the first layer of heaven, a small mountain lies hidden within the stone pool. Both the stone pool and the mountain exude an unusual aura. Alongside, Ning Xiaoxiao guards the entrance. Yi Chen's mind and spirit stirred. Could this be the miraculous giant mountain mentioned on the ancient stele? As Yi Chen's expression shifted, Ning Xiaoxiao, standing beside, seemed to perceive his thoughts and smiled, saying, "Yi Chen, you must suspect that the small mountain in the stone pool might be that giant mountain mentioned on the ancient stele, right?" Yi Chen nodded. Although the mountain within the stone pool is tiny, contrasting the ancient stele's description, Yi Chen's countless adventures taught him it might be an illusion from the space law, with the real giant mountain visible only upon entering the pool space. This mountain is highly likely that giant mountain from the ancient stele. Even if it's not, it could still be another treasure mountain, Yi Chen suggested, looking at Ning Xiaoxiao. "What do you think, Ning Xiaoxiao?" Ning Xiaoxiao gazed into the stone pool and slowly said, "To be frank, Yi Chen, I possess a unique divine skill allowing me to sacrifice a treasure for guidance towards another within a certain time frame. After entering the first layer of heaven of the chaotic heavenly hall, I explored some areas specifically searching for the giant mountain from the ancient stele, but couldn't find it after extensive searching. In such circumstances, I resorted to my wishing divine skill. After consuming a treasure, I received guidance to this area. Hence, it's not about a high likelihood of the mountain in the stone pool being the giant mountain mentioned, but a certainty that it's the giant mountain we're seeking." Ning Xiaoxiao spoke with absolute conviction. Her words stirred Yi Chen's mind and spirit. He never expected Ning Xiaoxiao to possess such a secret technique for wishing and treasure hunting. A true prodigy from another universe. Though this technique consumes a treasure and has limitations, finding superior treasures makes it an incredibly powerful divine skill. Knowing some treasures' whereabouts, using this skill to hunt them down holds a high likelihood of discovering top treasures. No wonder Ning Xiaoxiao has grown so much. True prodigies indeed possess unexpected special means. As Yi Chen pondered, Ning Xiaoxiao sighed. "Unfortunately, even though I found the giant mountain's location using my skill, I still cannot enter it. The giant mountain is concealed within the stone pool, likely shrouded by a special formation, rendering entry impossible without breaking it. Yi Chen, do you have any method to dismantle the stone pool's maze?" Ning Xiaoxiao looked at Yi Chen with hopeful anticipation. Since the ancient stele doesn't restrict the number of entrants to the giant mountain, Ning Xiaoxiao never hid this area. She hoped others might find it, using their abilities to breach the array and enter the mountain. Though these days no overlord-level figures have found this place, Yi Chen's arrival offers a glimmer of hope. Despite Yi Chen being merely a heavenly divine venerable, Ning Xiaoxiao held little expectations. However, greatly excited her was Yi Chen's lack of immediate denial of being unable to break the array. Instead, attentively observing the stone pool, even circling it twice and scrutinizing every aspect within it. Yi Chen's actions stirred Ning Xiaoxiao's mind and spirit. Could it be? This heavenly divine venerable Yi Chen truly possesses the capability to break the array? Ning Xiaoxiao remembered Yi Chen's potent ancient treasure during the competition for entering the chaotic heavenly hall. Yi Chen, managing to obtain such a mighty ancient treasure in the primal beginning universe, might just have some extraordinary means. Initially disregarding Yi Chen, Ning Xiaoxiao now focused all her mind and spirit on him. After all, whether Yi Chen can break the array directly impacts her chance for advancement. Ning Xiaoxiao's little schemes didn't concern Yi Chen at all. Since confirming the Stone Pool's mountain as the miraculous giant mountain from the ancient stele, Yi Chen devoted all his efforts to discovering an entry method. Desiring entry into the realm-enhancing giant mountain, Yi Chen shared Ning Xiaoxiao's eagerness. After all, elevating once more means Yi Chen could advance from heavenly divine venerable to immortal divine venerable, reaching the pinnacle of the divine venerable realm. Yi Chen anxiously anticipated potential benefits upon breaking the third shackle in advancement. Yi Chen once specialized in studying formations. He had even practiced 9 volumes of formation array, devoted to formation research. Furthermore, Yi Chun delved deep into ancient tomes on formation. Although the stone pool's unique prohibition conceals the giant mountain's true form, after thorough observation, Yi Chun developed a certain confidence in dismantling the array. Yi Chun carefully examined 6 specific spots within the stone pool. At these 6 spots, stones of differing colors lay as streams constantly spouted forth, merging with the pool's water flow. Moreover, the mist shrouding the stone pool occasionally escaped from these 6 stones. These 6 stones likely serve as the maze's formation eye. Despite identifying the formation eye, Yi Chun dared not casually alter the stone's positions. Incorrect movement risks triggering the stone pool's special defense prohibition, thereby failing to gain entry into the mountain and potentially causing great disaster. Without absolute confidence, Yi Chun refrained from rash actions. Yi Chun meticulously observed the 6 stones' slightest changes, studying the patterns of water flow and mist dispersion over time. Simultaneously, he reminisced various ancient formations he had heard of. This observation and contemplation persisted for 3 whole days. Throughout the 3 days, Ning Xiaoxiao stood by, refraining from disturbing Yi Chun, fearing interruption might hinder his thoughts and exploration. As time passed, Ning Xiaoxiao increasingly doubted Yi Chun's odds of breaking the array yet remained patient. After more than 3 days of waiting, Ning Xiaoxiao finally saw Yi Chun, who had been watching the stone pool, move. Yi Chun. Ning Xiaoxiao's mind and spirit jumped, gazing towards Yi Chun. However, Yi Chun merely glanced at her, gesturing for silence, then proceeded to the pool's southeast corner. Yi Chun's actions prompted even Ning Xiaoxiao, whose realm surpassed his, to hold her tongue, ensuring her breaths became lighter. She feared disrupting Yi Chun at this critical moment. And then, after reaching the southeast corner, Yi Chun seemed to possess absolute confidence in breaking the array. He wasted no time and immediately conjured a divine light with his hand, directing it to strike one of the 6 stones before him. Left 5. Mysterious 7. Unite. Mist disperse. Yi Chun chanted a mystic spell, and upon utterance, an unexpected event occurred. Within the stone pool, the stone in front of Yi Chun, struck by his divine power's light, instantly shifted positions, swapping with a stone at the northwest corner. Left 6, spin 9, eastward, water flow emerging. At the same time, Yi Chun chanted another spell, quickly moving to another location to strike another stone with divine light. Following this, the stone promptly shifted positions too. Yi Chun's hand remained active, quickening his pace. He continued chanting spells while adjusting stone positions. This process lasted through 81 spatial adjustments altogether. Once all 81 adjustments concluded, suddenly, the 6 stones within the pool began spinning swiftly, inducing a powerful suction that gradually absorbed the pool's mist. The mist within the stone pool diminished rapidly, while the water flow increased dramatically. This unique transformation caused Ning Xiaoxiao, observing Yi Chun's actions, to feel a frenzied stir in her mind and spirit, nearly bursting out with excitement. Ning Xiaoxiao realized that Yi Chun, whose realm wasn't as high as hers, might just achieve the array's breakthrough. This Yi Chun, surprisingly reaching such miraculous heights, even capable of breaking the chaotic Heavenly Hall's array of this level. Chapter 1157. Immortal. As Ning Xiaoxiao's heart leapt to her throat, and the maze stone's transformation had undergone a full 81 changes. Boom! A thunderous noise erupted from within the stone pool, as if the maze had been broken, as if the giant gate had been opened. The entire mist within the stone pool was instantly swept away, leaving only the rushing water, spinning wildly within the pool. And amidst this spinning, the small mountain within the stone pool began to emit a strange light. Seeing this, Yi Chun, who had been busy breaking the formation and observing the changes in the stone pool, directly said to Ning Xiaoxiao, "The maze is broken. The giant mountain can be entered. Friend Ning Xiaoxiao, if you want to break through your realm inside the giant mountain, go in now." Whoosh! After saying this, Yi Chun leapt towards the stone pool, flew into it, and disappeared in an instant. Seeing this, Ning Xiaoxiao was overwhelmed with excitement. It was now crystal clear to her that Yi Chun, the heavenly divine venerable she had initially underestimated, had truly broken through the maze in front of them and opened the path to train and break through the divine mountain. Even though Ning Xiaoxiao is an extraordinary talent from the Linglong Divine Land's governed universe, she too craves such an opportunity to advance her realm. Seeing Yi Chun already in the space within the stone pool, Ning Xiaoxiao did not dare to hesitate any longer and hurriedly, imitating Yi Chun, flew into the stone pool. In an instant, Ning Xiaoxiao also disappeared without a trace. When Ning Xiaoxiao regained consciousness, she found herself at the foot of a giant mountain. Meanwhile, Yi Chun stood at the mountain's base, gazing up at the giant mountain before him. "Friend Yi Chun, thank you. If it weren't for you breaking the formation, I wouldn't have had the chance to come to this giant mountain." Ning Xiaoxiao expressed her gratitude with a solemn bow to Yi Chun. Ning Xiaoxiao fully understood that the giant mountain before them was surely the training divine mountain hidden by the stone pool maze. Thanks to Yi Chen's assistance, she had been granted this great opportunity for a breakthrough. Upon hearing Ning Xiaoxiao's words of gratitude, Yi Chen simply waved his hand and said to her, "No need for thanks, friend Ning Xiaoxiao. Since we're both here, let's seize the opportunity and strive for a breakthrough in this mountain. I'll be going ahead." With that, Yi Chen flew directly into the giant mountain. Ning Xiaoxiao did not expect Yi Chen's indifference towards her, feeling quite surprised. With her extraordinary talent and stunning looks, Ning Xiaoxiao had always been the center of attention in her universe, receiving respectful treatment from many geniuses, and countless expressed admiration for her. Originally, Ning Xiaoxiao thought that since Yi Chun had helped her so much, he would use this opportunity to draw closer to her, perhaps even harbor some feelings for her. However, Yi Chen's aloofness left her stunned for a moment. Then, Ning Xiaoxiao let out a wry smile. This Yi Chun, such a talent, must be a devoted cultivator, completely oblivious to charm. Let's forget about him. Personal cultivation breakthrough is more important. With a surge of emotions, Ning Xiaoxiao also flew into the giant mountain. At this moment, Yi Chun had already reached the edge of a cliff within the giant mountain. Yi Chun hadn't given any thought to Ning Xiaoxiao's feelings and hadn't even noticed her unusual reaction. After all, Yi Chun was accompanied by Zhang Yao and Long Li, two supreme beauties. Neither in talent nor looks did Ning Xiaoxiao surpass Zhang Yao or Long Li. Why would Yi Chun see her in a different light? Yi Chen's entire mind and spirit were concentrated on this divine mountain. Yi Chun wanted to see if this divine mountain was truly as the ancient steel outside had claimed, capable of helping him break through a minor realm. I've just recently advanced from the Earth Divine Venerable to the Heavenly Divine Venerable. If I could further break through to the Immortal Divine Venerable, that breakthrough speed would be utterly astonishing. Outside, I'd likely need to accumulate a long period to break through. But within this breakthrough mountain, mentioned specifically in the chaotic Heavenly Hall's ancient steel, perhaps a breakthrough is truly possible. Upon entering this giant mountain, Yi Chun immediately sensed its extraordinariness. This giant mountain possessed some inexplicable divine power that, upon his entry, surged directly into his body, merging seamlessly with his own divine power. The divine power of this giant mountain was frantically replenishing the divine power Yi Chun needed to break through. Even more peculiarly, within this giant mountain, there was an inexplicable divine sound narrating to Yi Chun the insights needed to progress from the Heavenly Divine Venerable to the Immortal Divine Venerable. This giant mountain seemed to directly perceive the realm of those who entered, immediately aiding them in all aspects for a breakthrough. Yi Chun stood at the cliff, carefully sensing all changes in his divine power and soul. Yi Chun knew this magical giant mountain would indeed bring him a monumental breakthrough. This realization lasted for more than 4 days. Afterward, Yi Chun, who had reached the pinnacle of the Heavenly Divine Venerable both in divine power and insight, felt a cloud of tribulation directly descending upon his position. It was the breakthrough tribulation cloud. This giant mountain brought him the breakthrough tribulation cloud directly. By this time, Yi Chun was entirely prepared for the breakthrough. Moreover, He felt a kind of pervasive power within the giant mountain that he could draw upon to confront the divine tribulation and complete the breakthrough. Such a rare opportunity for breakthrough Yi Chen surely wouldn't miss. If he were outside, progressing from the heavenly divine venerable to the immortal divine venerable, breaking the third barrier within him would require accumulating immense power. But by leveraging the power within the giant mountain, his certainty of breaking through the third barrier increased infinitely. Yi Chen's grasp of stepping into the immortal divine venerable has increased immensely. Come on! Yi Chen looked at the tribulation clouds above and shouted loudly before charging directly into them. Hundreds of miles away, in a different realm, Ning Xiaoxiao also entered a breakthrough state as she approached the giant mountain. Before stepping into the giant mountain, Ning Xiaoxiao was already at the 4-star sovereign realm. Now, she was also breaking through to the 5-star sovereign realm. 3 days later, when the tribulation clouds covering Ning Xiaoxiao's location completely dispersed, her figure was revealed. At this moment, Ning Xiaoxiao lightly extended her hand, and even more powerful divine power began to surge in her palm. 5-star sovereign realm. This divine mountain has indeed helped me break through to the 5-star sovereign realm. My combat power has also increased far more than the last breakthrough. Ning Xiaoxiao sensed the changes in herself, and her face was filled with extreme excitement. Then, Ning Xiaoxiao looked towards other parts of the giant mountain and murmured, "That Yi Chen, being a heavenly divine venerable, should also be breaking through to the immortal divine venerable. It should be much easier than my breakthrough from 4-star to 5-star sovereign realm. He must have already completed his breakthrough by now. I wonder if he has already left or is waiting for me inside the giant mountain." Having already achieved her breakthrough, Ning Xiaoxiao was incredibly at ease. Thinking about Yi Chen, she flew directly to other parts of the giant mountain to find him. Not long after flying, Ning Xiaoxiao suddenly sensed a tremendous disturbance from a certain direction of the giant mountain, prompting her expression to change. "What's happening?" She quickly flew towards the source of the disturbance. As she got closer and saw the specific situation at that location, Ning Xiaoxiao looked as if she had seen a ghost. Ning Xiaoxiao saw a tribulation cloud much larger than the one during her breakthrough enveloping a cliff edge ahead. Within the cloud, terrifying sounds roared, sounds far more frightening than those during her own combat against the divine tribulation. Who is breaking through here? Could it be that some divine master or even a master has found the stone pool giant mountain and entered to break through? This earth-shattering disturbance made Ning Xiaoxiao never consider Yi Chen, the heavenly divine venerable. What a joke. Ning Xiaoxiao's 4-star sovereign breakthrough didn't cause such a commotion. How could Yi Chen, a mere heavenly divine venerable, trigger a tribulation so terrifying? While Ning Xiaoxiao pondered whether to wait here or go elsewhere to look for Yi Chen, the breakthrough in the tribulation cloud seemed to reach its final moment. Ning Xiaoxiao saw unparalleled power being drawn from various parts of the giant mountain, converging towards the tribulation cloud, as the terrifying sounds within the cloud seemed to reach the pinnacle of breaking the realm barrier. The next moment, whoever was inside the tribulation cloud was surely about to break through successfully. And indeed, as Ning Xiaoxiao focused her gaze, a loud shout suddenly came from within the thick tribulation cloud, followed by the endless cloud being blown apart, revealing a figure bathed in infinite divine light. That figure, like a giant god, stood in the void, accepting the nourishment of countless divine lights, enjoying the great rewards of the breakthrough. Wrapped in infinite divine light, Ning Xiaoxiao could not clearly see the appearance of this figure. However, as the figure gradually completed its breakthrough and acceptance of the rewards, it became increasingly visible. The more Ning Xiaoxiao looked at the emerging figure, the more her expression turned peculiar. Eventually, Ning Xiaoxiao was utterly astonished. She found that the figure in the divine light increasingly resembled Yi Chen. Could it really be Yi Chen? How is that possible? How could he cause such a massive breakthrough commotion? Even more terrifying than mine. Ning Xiaoxiao was completely incredulous. But when all the divine light dissipated and the figure was fully revealed, Ning Xiaoxiao had to confirm her judgment. The person inside was indeed Yi Chen. Yi Chen. At this moment, Ning Xiaoxiao could clearly see that the Yi Chun before her far exceeded her expectations. Not only could he break through the giant mountain maze, but even his breakthrough was so terrifying. Ning Xiaoxiao would never forget that this Yi Chun before her had advanced from the Earth Divine Venerable to the Heavenly Divine Venerable upon arriving in the primal beginning universe. This means that after breaking through again this time, Yi Chun has completed 2 breakthroughs shortly after arriving in the primal beginning universe. In such a short time, achieving 2 breakthroughs is something even the strongest Yushindu among the 30 geniuses who came this time couldn't do. Ning Xiaoxiao knew that Yi Chun before her had a lower realm than her, but his true cosmic talent was far more formidable than hers and Yushindu's. How could this not make Ning Xiaoxiao admire Yi Chun to the extreme? Even her voice when calling out Yi Chen's name carried an unconscious respect. Ning Xiaoxiao's voice also drew Yi Chen's gaze towards her after just completing his breakthrough. However, after merely nodding towards Ning Xiaoxiao, Yi Chun continued to sense the changes within himself in the void. Immortal Divine Venerable. I've finally succeeded in stepping into the Immortal Divine Venerable realm. This breakthrough experience on the Divine Mountain allowed Yi Chun to leap from Heavenly Divine Venerable to Immortal Divine Venerable, reaching the last step of the Divine Venerable realm. Moreover, after breaking his 3rd inner shackle this time, Yi Chun acquired a new, unique, and unparalleled divine method born from heaven and earth. A divine method even more special than the stellar terrestrial spin acquired upon breaking through to Earth Divine Venerable and the chaotic Heavenly Divine Light acquired upon breaking through to Heavenly Divine Venerable. Chapter 1158. Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh. Yi Chun carefully perceived all the changes in the divine body, comprehending the breakthrough to the Immortal Divine Venerable realm, and understanding the unique Heaven-Earth innate divine method he just acquired. Immortal Divine Venerable. In any universe, this is already considered a top-tier figure. Above it, only the Sovereign Realm is higher, already surpassing True Chi, Spirit Sea, Rotating Pill, Heavenly Saint, True God, and Divine King, reaching the peak of the Divine Venerable. Of course, in a place like the Cosmic Sea where powerhouses are everywhere, an Immortal Divine Venerable appears somewhat weak. However, Yi Chen's breakthrough to Immortal Divine Venerable was different from an ordinary breakthrough. After all, when he was a Heavenly Divine Venerable, Yi Chun could battle a Divine Master. Now, breaking through to Immortal Divine Venerable, his combat power had another major breakthrough. Although he couldn't yet contend against Overlord-level figures, his confidence in battling Divine Master-level figures had increased significantly. Yi Chen's breakthrough to Immortal Divine Venerable nearly equates to a breakthrough at the Divine Master level. Otherwise, it wouldn't have caused such an uproar, even making Ning Xiaoxiao feel shocked. This breakthrough also truly brought Yi Chun one step closer to reaching the Divine Master realm needed to head to the Cosmic Sea. He just needs to cross the Sovereign Realm. From breaking through from Divine King to Earth Divine Venerable at the Starry Sky Waterfall, to advancing from Earth Divine Venerable to Heavenly Divine Venerable in Blue Gold City in the Primal Beginning Universe, and now successfully breaking through to Immortal Divine Venerable in the unknown territory of the Chaotic Heavenly Hall in the 13th Chaos Zone, Yi Chen's harvest during this period was exceedingly vast, with his realm advancing extremely quickly, much faster than his earlier breakthroughs at the Divine King realm. Generally, as people progress, their realm advancement slows down as their potential is gradually exhausted. But Yi Chun was completely the opposite. He seemed to have endless potential to tap into, still charging towards even higher realms. This trip to the Primal Beginning Universe is truly worthwhile. If I were outside, I'm afraid I wouldn't have reached the Immortal Divine Venerable realm so quickly. Yi Chun was deeply moved. This made Yi Chun even more excited and full of anticipation for his future adventures in the Primal Beginning Universe. After realizing the state of his realm breakthrough, Yi Chun finally focused his mind and spirit on the newly acquired Heaven-Earth innate divine method. The divine method obtained after breaking the 3rd shackles within his body. When he broke the first shackles, Yi Chun obtained the Starry Sky Earth Rotation Divine Technique. This divine technique greatly amplified his combat power, allowing Yi Chen's combat power to make a qualitative leap, which was also the reason why he could fight divine master-level figures with the divine venerable realm power. Breaking the second shackles, Yi Chun acquired the chaotic heavenly divine light divine method. Although Yi Chun had just started cultivating this divine method, its powerful combat recovery ability also left Yi Chun astonished. Now, after breaking the third shackles, the new divine method Yi Chun obtained was named Immortal Spirit Seed Divine Method. This is actually an incredibly powerful life-saving divine method. This heaven-earth innate divine method transmitted into Yi Chun's mind, giving him the understanding that once cultivated successfully, this divine method would grant an incredible life-saving skill. In the event of a true life and death threat, the body can instantly generate 10,000 spirit seeds, each of which would be transmitted to a distant location through a special space law. The opponent must completely annihilate all 10,000 spirit seeds. Otherwise, if any spirit seed escapes, it can absorb all the remaining spirit seeds and randomly reach another domain, allowing for a perfect resurrection. This means that this divine method can give Yi Chun an immortal and indestructible ability during a life and death battle. After all, it's almost impossible for the enemy to eradicate all 10,000 spirit seeds transmitted to far-off places. Only a heaven-shaking figure who has mastered extraordinary space laws might do it. Yi Chun wouldn't provoke such figures casually either. Yi Chun never thought that after breaking the third shackles, he would gain such a divine method. At the Earth Divine Venerable Realm, I obtained the Starry Sky Earth Rotation Divine Technique, which relates to the Earth. At the Heavenly Divine Venerable Realm, I got the Chaotic Heavenly Divine Light Divine Method, relating to the sky. Now at the Immortal Divine Venerable Realm, I received the Immortal Spirit Seed, more related to immortality, granting me an eternal indestructible ability. Moreover, it also involves space laws. Could it be that heaven and earth sensed that I cultivated the Tai Yu chapter space law force, granting me such a powerful heaven-earth innate divine method? Yi Chun speculated in his heart. The heaven-earth innate divine method involves the great mysteries of heaven and earth, utterly inconceivable. The true rules are something Yi Chun still finds hard to comprehend. Unable to fathom, Yi Chun no longer thought too much. In any case, acquiring such a powerful divine method is indeed a very good thing. The urgent task is to quickly complete the cultivation of these divine methods. Yi Chun also felt now that he had too many things to cultivate. Not to mention the most important Tai Yu chapter cultivation technique of the primordial star scripture that must always be cultivated. Nor about the heavenly forbidden flame and the eternal God body, two major abilities whose power naturally increases with realm elevation. Just the other divine methods and divine arts, such as the heavenly sword divine art, Great Sun Pitha divine sound, Starry Sky Earth rotation, chaotic heavenly divine light, and immortal spirit seed, require Yi Chun to expend countless energy. Of course, roaming in the chaotic heavenly hall isn't the right time for cultivation. Now is the time to seize opportunities. After leaving the chaotic heavenly hall, it's time to find a place to cultivate properly. Countless thoughts flickered in his mind, yet in fact, not much time had passed. After organizing all his thoughts, Yi Chun finally looked at Ning Xiaoxiao, who had been waiting for him to finish his insights. Fellow Taoist Ning Xiaoxiao. Yi Chun sensed Ning Xiaoxiao's realm and smiled at her. Congratulations on successfully breaking through to the 5-star sovereign realm. In the past, if Yi Chun had talked with Ning Xiaoxiao, even though both were super geniuses from different universes who had come to the primal beginning universe, Ning Xiaoxiao would not have paid much attention to Yi Chun. After all, they had little interaction. But now, the situation was completely different. Ning Xiaoxiao's breakthrough this time was all thanks to Yi Chun, who broke the formation to enter the Divine Mountain. Especially after witnessing Yi Chun's various wonders, Ning Xiaoxiao could no longer see Yi Chun as a young genius inferior to her in the realm. Now, Ning Xiaoxiao regarded Yi Chun as an extraordinary figure akin to Yu Shindu. In her heart, the Yi Chun before her was even more incredible than the feeling Yu Shindu had given her. Ning Xiaoxiao had even considered Yi Chun as the most worthwhile person to associate with among this batch of cosmic geniuses. She had already decided to build a good relationship with Yi Chun. After all, such a figure will surely achieve great things in the future, and even if she, Ning Xiaoxiao, was a super genius, there might be a time when she would need someone like Yi Chun. Therefore, upon hearing Yi Chen's words, Ning Xiaoxiao directly gave Yi Chun a brilliant smile. I owe my breakthrough this time entirely to fellow Taoist Yi Chun. Ning Xiaoxiao politely said to Yi Chun, even taking the initiative to start the conversation. Fellow Taoist Yi Chun, we've both completed our breakthroughs, and this giant mountain can only allow us to break through a small layer of the realm. Staying here is useless. What's your plan? Are you going to continue treasure hunting in the first layer of the chaotic heavenly hall? Or are you heading to the second heaven? Yi Chun pondered for a moment, glancing outside the giant mountain. We've already spent quite some time in the first layer. By now, many have probably entered the second heaven. I plan to leave this place as soon as possible to find an ancient teleportation formation to head to the second heaven. The treasures there are more precious. We can't let others get there first. What about you, Ning Xiaoxiao? Ning Xiaoxiao smiled slightly. Xiaoxiao thinks the same as fellow Taoist Yi Chun. After leaving, I also plan to head to the second heaven quickly. Then let's hurry and leave. Yi Chun nodded. Once we get out, we need to quickly find an ancient teleportation formation to get to the second heaven. After entering the giant mountain, the two obtained the method to leave, making it extremely easy to get out of the maze giant mountain. However, to Yi Chen's surprise, upon hearing his words, Ning Xiaoxiao smiled slightly at him and said, fellow Taoist Yi Chun, you helped me get into this giant mountain, so Xiaoxiao must also help you with a little favor later. Don't refuse it, okay? What kind of favor? Yi Chun was a little curious. Ning Xiaoxiao smiled mysteriously. You'll know once we get out, fellow Taoist Yi Chun. After the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn. When Yi Chun stood in front of an ancient teleportation formation, he was greatly surprised. He didn't expect that the small favor Ning Xiaoxiao mentioned was actually helping him find an ancient teleportation formation. It seems this genius girl indeed has quite a few special abilities. While it was extremely difficult for others to find an ancient teleportation formation leading to the second heaven of the chaotic heavenly hall, often encountering numerous dangers, she found one so easily. Moreover, each ancient teleportation formation can only transport one person. Ning Xiaoxiao gave this ancient teleportation formation to Yi Chun for transportation, clearly indicating she had other ancient teleportation formations in reserve. This was even more extraordinary. It seems fellow Taoist Ning Xiaoxiao's treasure hunting methods are more impressive than I imagined. Yi Chun praised Ning Xiaoxiao as he stood in front of the ancient teleportation formation. Ning Xiaoxiao gently smiled. Fellow Taoist Yi Chun, your methods likewise far exceed my imagination. With that, Ning Xiaoxiao smiled warmly. All right, I won't take up any more of your time. Fellow Taoist Yi Chun, please hurry to the second heaven. I will also head to another ancient teleportation formation to quickly enter the second heaven. I hope we'll have another chance later to meet and find some opportunities together. After saying goodbye to Yi Chun, Ning Xiaoxiao drifted away. Watching Ning Xiaoxiao's disappearing figure, Yi Chun smiled slightly, shook his head, and then turned his gaze back to the ancient teleportation formation in front of him. I wonder what the situation is inside the second heaven of the chaotic heavenly hall. I remember the ancient stele outside mentioned that in the second heaven, there's an ancient zither. If you have the fate to play it, it can help the player greatly enhance their cultivation technique comprehension. Ancient zither? Could it be that the second heaven is a world of pavilions and palaces?
Yi Chen speculated.
Then Yi Chun stepped into the ancient teleportation formation. When the next moment of teleportation ended, and Yi Chun regained consciousness from the dizziness of teleportation, he was greatly surprised again by the scene before him. The world inside the second heaven of the chaotic heavenly hall was nothing like the pavilions and palaces he imagined. The second heaven was actually an endless, vast marshland that stretched beyond sight. At this moment, Yi Chun was standing on a patch of dry mud amidst the marshland, surrounded by black swamps that were bubbling ominously, appearing extremely dangerous. This dry soil was only a few zhang in radius, with a small stele beside it. It read, Chaotic Heavenly Hall Second Heaven. Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh. Teleportation point number 075. Chapter 1159. Flame Giant. Chaotic Heavenly Hall, Second Heaven. Heavenly Chaos, Great Marsh? How do we venture through here? Yi-chun looked at the words on the small tablet and then at the endless vast marsh stretching beyond sight, furrowing his eyebrows. Here, he couldn't see a single soul, nor did he know where the others were teleported. Moreover, unlike the entrance to the first layer of Heaven Myriad Treasures Grotto of the Chaotic Heavenly Hall, where there was a text prompt to find an ancient teleportation formation to step into the second heaven of the Chaotic Heavenly Hall. At the teleportation location of the second heaven, Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh, there were no instructions on how to proceed to the third heaven. It seemed one had to explore on their own. What Yi-chun didn't know was that he had already delayed quite a bit of time inside the Myriad Treasures Grotto, and later spent additional time cultivating breakthroughs inside the giant mountain with Ning Xiaoxiao. He was among the last to enter the second heaven, apart from those who perished in the first heaven. The remaining challengers, nearly all of whom had arrived at the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh before him. Those challengers, having arrived earlier than Yi-chun, were also utterly baffled by how to navigate the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh, leading everyone to begin their explorations from the respective points where they were teleported. Each person's circumstances varied dramatically. Yet, everyone, whether as powerful as Hua Tianjue, Hongjue, or Yuan Qingzi, or other young talents who hadn't reached even the Divine Master realm, once stepping onto the black swamp of the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh, were engulfed into the internal space of the marsh, beginning their separate spatial ventures. Each space presented different challenges. The true means of venturing the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh was indeed its internal space. Some masters, upon being engulfed into the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh, first entered a treasure land filled with extremely precious treasures. However, they could only take one, so reluctantly, the master chose a powerful offensive treasure before entering the second space. Some divine masters swallowed into the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh entered a terrifying ice-sealed territory. Despite being a 9-layered divine master, once entered, they were immediately frozen in space, unable to move. Even talents below the divine master realm, upon entering the internal space of the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh, directly encountered an endless slaughter crisis. Although the demons encountered in this crisis weren't too formidable, they were unending, depleting the talent's divine power until finally being overwhelmed by the endless demons, perishing in the space. From the experiences of everyone teleported to the second heaven, the treasures inside the second heaven of the Chaotic Heavenly Hall were significantly better than those of the first heaven overall, but the probability of encountering danger was also much higher. In the first Heaven Myriad Treasures Grotto, only a small portion of people perished, but in the second heaven, as soon as it was entered, 4 or 5 people had already died within. Everyone felt the distinctiveness of the second heaven. Some even believed that if this pattern continued, the dangers of the third heaven would be even more terrifying, and possibly, even the strongest among them might not venture far in it. This made those venturing through the second heaven ever more cautious, hoping to find more treasures while ensuring their safety. Yi-chun was unaware of others' experiences in the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh. Though still unsure how to navigate this second heaven, he wouldn't stop there. The bountiful gains from the Myriad Treasures Grotto allowed him to reach the immortal divine venerable realm, so naturally, he wished to gather more within the Chaotic Heavenly Hall. With countless treasures and numerous means at his disposal, as well as powerful life-saving scrolls, Yi-chun had the confidence to explore this second heaven thoroughly. After surveying the vast marsh before him for a moment, Yi-chun hesitated no longer, rising from the dry earth to fly ahead, to see what the marsh truly looked like. The moment Yi-chun had just ascended a few dozen feet from the dry earth range onto the sky above the black swamp, he immediately felt an astonishing pull coming from below the black swamp. This astonishing pull was so strong that even with Yi-chun's power, it was hard to resist. Yi-chun even felt that it would be hard to resist even with the power of a cosmic emperor level. This shocked Yi-chun. Could it be that the true place to venture in the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh isn't above but beneath the marsh? As soon as this thought flashed across Yi-chun's mind, the next moment, he was swallowed by a bubble of the endless black swamp of the Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh. In the following moment, Yi Chun found himself in a massive temple. The walls inside this temple were all burning fiery walls, and under the endless firelight, the entire temple appeared crimson. To Yi Chen's slight relief, the burning flames were not too intimidating in temperature, manageable with his strength. This also allowed Yi Chun to more leisurely observe the temple he found himself in. Flame Temple. Heavenly Chaos Great Marsh's internal space? It seems the second heaven of the chaotic heavenly hall involves venturing through such internal spaces of the marsh. I wonder what can be found inside this temple. Yi Chen's mind raced as he quickly pieced together the situation he was in. Just as Yi Chun was preparing to thoroughly search this flame temple to see what treasures lay within, a thunderous rumble echoed from the depths of the temple.
Ye Chen listened intently.
It sounded as if colossal footsteps were approaching slowly. Having witnessed countless miraculous events, Yi Chen's expression remained unchanged. He circulated his divine power to protect himself and looked toward the depths of the temple to see what might emerge. Boom! 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 After roughly a dozen steps, a massive flame giant, at least hundreds of feet tall, emerged from the dark passage deep within the temple. This flame giant bore an uncanny resemblance to a human, with the only difference being its giant stature and a body composed not of flesh but of stone blocks, each unique and occasionally emitting flickers of flame. What astounded Yi Chun were the special divine flames flickering from each stone on the flame giant's body, whose value seemed in no way inferior to the heavenly forbidden flame he possessed. This left Yi Chun shocked. After all, the heavenly forbidden flame Yi Chun owned ranked second on the extreme heaven divine fire list, a flame coveted even by divine masters in the true spirit divine kingdom, not to mention sovereigns. But upon reflection, Yi Chun felt at ease. After all, the chaotic heavenly hall was a mysterious place in the primal beginning universe, and even the cosmic emperor might not have the fortune to enter here. It was completely understandable for divine flames surpassing the heavenly forbidden flame to exist here. What kind of flame giant is this, possessing so many divine flames? If I could obtain even a few of its divine flames and merge them into the heavenly forbidden flame, its power might greatly increase. Observing the flame giant before him, Yi Chen's divine sense flickered in his mind. As Yi Chun observed the flame giant, it also eyed Yi Chun. But after a few glances, the flame giant snorted disdainfully and murmured to itself, "Just an immortal divine venerable youth, yet he managed to transmit into my temple. I thought a powerful adversary could come for a good fight. Looks like my subordinates alone can take care of you." After some self-talk, the flame giant directly addressed Yi Chun. "Kid, your luck is truly unfortunate, entering one of the many death spaces of the heavenly chaos great marsh. There's no treasure here for you, only a path of death and slaughter awaits. Brace yourself to die here, kid." Finishing its words, the flame giant shook its body, shedding clusters of flames that transformed into fiery little figures. These figures hovered in the air for a few moments before rushing towards Yi Chun to attack. Hearing the flame giant's words and seeing the attacking fiery figures, Yi Chen's expression changed. Death space. It seems I truly am unlucky. However, letting himself perish as the flame giant suggested was something Yi Chun would never accept. Although Yi Chun sensed that the flame giant's strength was roughly at the overlord level, he was confident in dealing with it. Even against a cosmic emperor-level opponent, with many cards up his sleeve, Yi Chun would never resign himself to death. The attacking fiery figures were mostly only sovereign level, and Yi Chun felt no fear at all. Seeing 8 fiery figures charging at him, Yi Chun swiftly extended his hand, and instantly, his heavenly sword divine art was reinforced by the starry sky earth rotation divine technique and unleashed with great force. The terrifying sword light swept towards the fiery figures like a storm. The 8 fiery figures before him had no means of resistance and were annihilated by Yi Chen's heavenly sword divine art. Yi Chen's thunderous strike took the flame giant by surprise. An immortal divine venerable possessing such formidable power. It seems that those who enter the chaotic heavenly hall are indeed extraordinary. After expressing its sentiments, the flame giant's blazing eyes focused on Yi Chun, and its booming voice echoed towards him. Kid, even though you exceed my expectations in strength, you still face a path of death here. Prepare to die. The flame giant stopped unleashing fiery figures to attack Yi-chan, and instead approached him directly with its main body. Prepare to die? Yi-chan looked at the flame giant and sneered. Your divine flames look quite good. You'd better prepare yourself to die. Hearing Yi-chan's words, the flame giant seemed touched by a taboo and erupted in fury. An immortal divine venerable? So arrogant? Watch me refine you into my 10,000 laws flame, and let's see how you gloat then. Boom, boom, boom. Enraged, the flame giant's flames erupted from its stones skyward, enveloping its entire body in an endless blaze. Simultaneously, a flame divine chain appeared in its hand, coiling towards Yi-chan to kill him. Chapter 1160. Change of Devouring Fire. The flame giant possesses overlord-level killing force. In its fury, its endless killing force radiance is truly terrifying to the mind and spirit. And the flame divine chain in its hand is the most powerful treasure it has cultivated throughout its life, capable of mobilizing the endless fire element power in its body, making it its strongest weapon of attack. The flame giant drives out the flame divine chain, clearly intending to kill Yi-chan in one fell swoop. If it were other divine masters or geniuses below divine master level, caught in this death crisis, the mere divine might of the flame giant would be enough to scare them to death. However, what kind of person is Yi-chan? Even if he is only an immortal divine venerable, even if his combat power can only resist a divine master, the powerful treasures on Yi-chan are not a bit weaker than many cosmic emperors. After all, Yi-chan killed the divine soul of a cosmic emperor and inherited massive resources from a cosmic emperor. The flame giant before him, no matter how terrifying, is not a problem at all for Yi-chan. Seeing the flame divine chain of the flame giant attacking, Yi-chan flips his palm, and the 7 copper coin ancient treasures that helped him face many battles instantly fly out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as these 7 copper coins fly out, they instantly disappear, appearing directly outside the flame giant, immediately binding its head, arms, waist, legs, and other parts completely. No matter how much overlord-level strength the flame giant possesses, under the constraints of the 7 copper coins, it has absolutely no ability to break free. Roar! The flame giant finally feels the threat of life and death. It never expected that the little immortal divine venerable before it had such terrifying cards hidden on his person. The flame giant frantically cries out, trying to break free from the restraints of the 7 copper coins. But the more it struggles, the tighter the copper coins bind. When it turns its head to look at Yi-chan, even wanting to beg Yi-chan for mercy, Yi-chan instead makes a spell gesture with his hand directly. Bang! The 7 copper coins suddenly shrink dramatically, directly severing the flame giant's head, arms, waist, and legs. Without any resistance, the flame giant is directly killed on the spot by Yi-chan. If Yi-chan wished, he could activate the burning power of the ancient fire on the copper coins, even incinerating the flame giant before him into void. However, Yi-chan did not choose to do so. Seeing the flame giant strangled to death on the spot, Yi-chan collected the copper coins and instantly flashed over to the flame giant's corpse. Yi-chan intends to collect the endless divine flames from the flame giant's body. The divine flames on the flame giant are even more precious than the heavenly forbidden flame, and Yi-chan certainly does not want to miss it. However, to Yi-chan's surprise, just as he prepared to collect the divine flames from the flame giant's body, these divine flames seemed to sense the death of the flame giant and began to dissipate directly. Moreover, the speed of this dispersal was incredibly fast, and before Yi-chan could react, these divine flames had completely vanished, as if merging into the world of the chaotic heavenly hall. It was as if these divine flames originally belonged to the chaotic heavenly hall, forming the flame giant, and upon the flame giant's death, returned to the chaotic heavenly hall. This result took Yi-chan by surprise. So unlucky? Could it be I really entered a death space? Unable to gain anything? wasting the divine power on the 7 copper coins for nothing without any benefit. Yi-chun was utterly disappointed and was about to find a way to leave this space when something unexpected happened to him. A kind of mysterious and extraordinary entity suddenly transmitted into Yi-chun's mind from within this space. This mysterious and extraordinary entity seems to belong to this space yet also transcends this individual space, belonging to the chaotic heavenly hall itself. Even the flame giant probably did not know of the existence of this mysterious entity. Yi-chun meticulously comprehends this mystery. To Yi-chun's surprise, even though he could sense that the thing transmitted into his mind was incomparably precious, he seemed not to have completely reached the level to comprehend this mystery. He could not sense what this mystery was after all. He couldn't even move or understand these mysteries. Yi-chun could only leave this mystery in his mind, waiting for the right moment to comprehend it. Although he could not know exactly what these mysteries were, Yi-chun knew it was definitely extraordinarily precious. This also made Yi-chun exhale a long breath, full of anticipation. Chaotic Heavenly Hall, since it's a place for exploration and treasure hunting, there must be many hidden opportunities. It cannot be an absolute land of death. Opportunities lie hidden in danger. The mystery can't be understood now. Wait for the opportunity. For now, I need to find a way to leave this space quickly. I need to focus on seeking treasures within this second heaven. After pondering for a moment, Yi-chun began searching this space in all directions. Not long after, Yi-chun found himself standing deep within the passage from which the flame giant emerged, stepping into an ancient teleportation formation. The next moment, Yi-chun found himself in another space. This time, what greeted Yi-chun was a group of water creatures flying out from a massive lake. Yi-chun wondered if he had exhausted his luck in the chaotic heavenly hall's first layer of heaven after finding the giant mountain that could enhance his realm. In the second heaven, heavenly chaos great marsh of the chaotic heavenly hall, he encountered one death space after another. Even though he first killed the flame giant and secondly killed a big group of water creatures, as he continued exploring teleportations, he still entered one death space after another. He never entered a single space without danger and only containing treasures. Of course, no matter how many death spaces he entered, the highest level of danger was only at the overlord level like the flame giant, and he did not encounter higher level dangers. This could be counted as a small fortune in his misfortune. And along this path of slaughter, Yi-chun has ventured through dozens of death spaces. Among the 3 major ancient chaos treasures in Yi-chun's possession, the divine power within the 7 copper coin treasures has gradually depleted. Now, only about 1/10 to 1/12 of the original divine power remains. For Yi-chun, the loss is undeniably significant. Of course, despite such losses, Yi-chun did not come away completely empty-handed. Many death spaces indeed revealed nothing, but in about half of them, similar to the first flame giant's flame temple space, Yi-chun obtained some profoundly mysterious and extraordinary items. These profoundly mysterious and extraordinary items also entered Yi-chun's mind and spirit. The varieties of mysteriousness obtained in different spaces, some are similar, while others are completely different. The similar ones fused together, giving Yi-chun an ever-increasing sense of enlightenment. As for the different ones, they remain scattered aside, seemingly waiting for accumulation. This made Yi-chun even more expectant. I must at least comprehend one of these mysteries. Yi-chun made a firm resolution, even if he had to venture dozens or even hundreds of times in the second heaven, and exhaust another treasure's divine might. He strived to gain more of these mysteries. This was the 68th space Yi-chun had transmitted into. To Yi-chun's surprise, this time he did not encounter danger upon entry. In this space, there were unexpectedly 2 ancient teleportation formations, one large and one small. Besides these 2 teleportation formations, and the explanatory text about them, there was nothing else. After reading the explanatory text about the 2 ancient teleportation formations, Yi-chun turned his gaze to the 2 formations, one large and one small. The chaotic heavenly hall is indeed wondrous. Arriving here actually offers a choice opportunity. The large teleportation formation is to leave the chaotic heavenly hall, directly transmitting outside, completely ending the venture in the hall. The small one is to continue venturing, transmitting into the next space of venture. According to the chaotic heavenly hall, if one feels they have gained enough and is fearful of the challenges ahead, they can choose to leave, at least ensuring they remain unharmed. If one wishes to continue treasure hunting, then choose to continue venturing. Of course, there might be more terrifying threats ahead. Yi-chun stood before the two teleportation formations, pondering for a moment. Then, without hesitation, he stepped into the smaller teleportation formation. Yi-chun chose to continue his venture. This time, without any surprises, Yi-chun once again fell into a new death space, this being the 69th space. And this time, Yi-chun faced a volcanic space, from which a supremely divine flame giant bird emerged. The flame giant bird flapped its wings. Endless flames flowed down from its body, like molten lava. Sensing that this was another overlord-level demon, this time, Yi-chun did not activate the 7 copper coins, directly deploying a new treasure. It was a treasure from the refining god chart obtained after exterminating the Cosmic Emperor's divine soul. The refining god chart of the Cosmic Emperor contained countless treasures. The 7 copper coins, the broken blade, the basket-shaped treasure. These 3 ancient chaos treasures were ones the Cosmic Emperor never used, so Yi-chun was unafraid to reveal them in front of others. But the other treasures, fearing being seen by others might reveal the secret that Yi-chun killed a Cosmic Emperor's divine soul, Yi-chun had never used them. Yet in this chaotic heavenly hall, Yi-chun ventured alone, without concern of secrets being revealed. With the divine power of the 7 copper coins nearly exhausted, Yi-chun directly chose to take out another treasure for use. This was a divine sword treasure. Its divine might was stronger than the 7 copper coins. Sensing the flame giant bird's killing force was more terrifying than the flame giant previously encountered, Yi-chun directly activated this treasure, attacking the flame giant bird. As the divine sword's light flickered, boundless thunder and lightning filled the volcanic space. This was actually a divine sword treasure containing the power of thunder and lightning. Amidst the boundless thunder and lightning strikes, it directly battled with the monstrous flame giant bird, and ultimately succeeded in killing it. After slaying the flame giant bird, a profound mystery entered Yi-chun's mind once more. This profound mystery, akin to many previously absorbed by Yi-chun, directly merged into the most accumulated mystery within Yi-chun, as if the accumulation finally transitioned from quantitative to qualitative change, as if it finally reached the moment of mystery unveiling. This same mystery, which was sensed 18 times, with a boom, resounded in Yi-chun's mind, directly revealing the true secret of this mystery. Change of devouring fire. This was actually a method of controlling and absorbing divine fire. Yi-chun had long speculated, in the death spaces he ventured into, many dealt with fire element demons, like the flame giant, like the flame fish encountered in the fire lake, and finally, this flame giant bird space activating the mystery. Yi-chun had long speculated that the fusion of these mysteries might relate to fire. Unexpectedly, they were truly a method of controlling divine fire. Change of devouring fire. Once he could clearly sense this mystery, Yi-chun could formally comprehend it. The more he comprehended, the more delighted Yi-chun became. Since he began cultivating, Yi-chun has been incredibly fated with divine fire, from initially understanding the fire intent, to later encountering precious flames, and then to the heavenly forbidden flame on the extreme heaven divine fire list. The flames Yi-chun mastered grew increasingly formidable. But even at its vast extent, they were merely polar sky-level flames. Yet now, the change of devouring fire method for controlling divine fire that Yi-chun acquired surprisingly imparted to Yi-chun a genuine path of divine fire control. A path transcending the polar sky level, achieving an even stronger level capable of being cultivated by even divine masters, overlords, and cosmic emperors.